But let's talk about our game right now. Our location. All of you. All of you are commoners. All of you are individuals that have not been tapped by that freedom that has been given to you by fate. Fate has been controlling all of you right now. You possibly have had those tales, heard those tales, had those thoughts, wondered what your life could be outside of your current situation, your current life that has been essentially drawn for you. There's always been a tale of those adventurers that seem larger than life, that go out seeking adventure. Most people shy away from that. Fear of the unknown, fear of death, a certainty of having food, a payment from your job, and not having to worry about a goblin stabbing you in the back is content for most people. And then we have the stories of the ones that never come back. We are going to bring our story a little bit more downward now. The town of Dorotharg. Roughly about 300 to 400 people, inhabitants. It is a village that is bordering the burning expanse. I'm going to share where it exactly is right now. Right there. This is where all of you currently find yourselves on this eventful morning. The sun has crested the horizon. The skies are nice and blue. Already you're hearing the hammering of the forges of the local blacksmith. A dwarven individual, a bit heavy set, graying beard, and for the most part, fairly jolly. You're smelling the scents of the baking bread and the other exquisite treats that are being created for this morning for the trade district when everything opens up to, well, being in Dorotharg, being on the edge of the burning expanse. There's a couple of geographical areas nearby that we need to bring our attention to. That is directly to the south, known as the Wailing Hills. It's actually going to be right there. The Wailing Hills, known for that name, because at night, individuals that do travel by, as we see a road that goes through that, an unmistakable noise. You have to kind of strain your ears from within Dorotharg at night to hear it, but as you get closer to it, you definitely can hear it. But the wailing is not what is most noticeable. It is the fog or the mist. You see, our world has a bit of history. The lands of Arstalon has just overcome the rule of a serpentine race known as the Velocins, the Velosa. They ruled with the help of the elves, with the help or the forceful labor and troops of the orcs to stomp out and rule the entire continent for generations. Unfortunately, the history of before this, no one really knows, as the Velocians essentially removed it, saying that us, the Velocians, are the most important. Anything before us need not matter. Anything after us will not matter. We matter for everything. Maybe they delved too far. Maybe they uncovered some aspects of a even long forgotten civilization. What is rumored to be told now, as many races have lived long enough, is that the Velocian Empire crumbled fast, almost overnight. Within the span of a couple weeks, a force from another plane of existence came in and utterly crushed Velosan rule. And Empire, the capital of Velosa, is what is now known as the Red Waste. Used to be lush jungle, used to be temperate. That is to the southwest of our map. Now a volcano sits, constantly spewing black ash into the sky. Whatever forces that came calling utterly ruined the Velocian rule, which allowed the rest of the races to finally crawl and claw themselves out from under the heel of the serpentine people. And with that, they essentially faded away. The elves took themselves to the land masses where most of them reside. All we have is several types of heritage for elves, but most of them reside in the now ruined Claw Islands. They typically try to stay away from other individuals because of the shame that they have done. And to give a bit of an apology, an organization known as the Emerald Grove sends out druids to help heal the land, help heal the scars of what the Velocians have done. Even in Dortharg, your town, you see that there are serpentine-esque twisted structures, and possibly strong, so not torn down. But the remnants of them are still there, and even if an individual digs deep into the earth, they might uncover some small artifacts, pottery, items of the old Velocian Empire. The dwarves of the Iron Wall clan guard what is the remains of the Velocian Empire. Because they ruled in the Red Waste, their old magic that was being fueled by demons, or more importantly, souls, is what powered the Velocian Empire. Those artifacts and their magic items still reside in the ground, in ruins. The dwarves forbid anyone from excavating for fear of that race coming back, if it ever would. But that is just thoughts, that is just school hand stories you have heard as children growing up. All of you have been brought to Dorthog for various means. Some of you have the backings of being able to talk to animals very, very well. Some of you are searching for coinage by taking down criminals or ruffians or people that have broken the law. But this is a day as any other, and you find yourselves here. Clouds start to scatter overhead now, dropping a bit of a small drench of rain as the hammering continues, as the bustling of the city starts to pick up. Okay, that is enough exposition for now.
This is fucking cool.
Okay, so let's talk about a mechanical thing real quick. If everyone looks at Foundry, goes to the right-hand side of Foundry, you will see that there is a musical note button for the music. So obviously I can't tell you to listen to the music. You can turn it down if you want, but I do recommend, because I do try to incorporate sound effects which will have some effects in the game. You might notice some things.
I'm honestly loving it right now.
Fantastic. The best way to do
I'm turning
this,
it down a little, but I'm also loving it.
what I tried to incorporate is if everyone looks at the playlist volume under the global volume controls, have that little button next to or under the C under controls. After I have mine, and I'm going to essentially incorporate all the music to a level that is enough to be heard, and as well as let you hear the town right now, as well as the music in the background. So, but again, it's up to you if you want to actually listen to the music or not. But I do need ambience in my music. I do need ambience in my games, or I get kind of lopsided. So I need that background for me when I start running my games. All right, so another aspect of RPGs, and you're gonna learn this from me, is improv, and what you might know. Now, I might not have seen a bit of the background, so I'm just gonna go to see what brings you here to Dorotharg. I'm gonna start easy. I'm gonna go with Amarok. No, real quick, Amarok, is that your actual character's name?
Honestly, I don't really know what my character's name should be. So I was thinking either Amarok would be a good name for the now, or
I'll tell you what. Give you a couple minutes to decide. Temporary, or you can. Oh, also I forgot to mention this. In my game, especially being new, especially knowing Pathfinder and learning Pathfinder, you're not locked into the character right now. If you realize that you've made something that is not what you think it should have been, you took a wrong feat, you want to change your class, you want to change your character, you are free to do this. I'm not going to lock you into a character you never ever want. Obviously, don't do it every session, but don't feel you're locked into your character. So if you find changes you want to do, just go ahead and do it. Let me know, and then we'll go from there. All right. So in fact, we'll go to Brogar, the dwarf. So real quick, Brogar, if you know, tell me, do you live in Dortharg, or are you visiting Dortharg?
I'd be visiting.
Would you know why you're visiting?
Um,
Now remember, you're not adventurers yet. So everyone's background is their current job.
I heard there was some criminal scum to hunt down here.
Okay. Now, real quick, we're going to do a little bit differently than typical, just so everyone's here. Go ahead and describe, Brogar, what you look like, who you are.
Okay, I'm gonna do this out of character because his voice is difficult to say certain
That's
things
fine.
in.
That's fine.
So, Brogar, he is a stocky dwarf. You hear dwarf and you think short, stocky, ripped with muscles. That's exactly how you would describe Brogar. He's bald, completely bald, and has a long, bushy black beard. And even though it is long and it is bushy, you can tell he takes very good care of it. He is also covered from what you assume is like shoulders all the way down to his feet in tattoos, but you only really see his arms because he's got his armor on. And he has got like deep brown eyes, and yeah, he wields a greatsword that is about the size of him.
All right. And, Brogar, being yourself, what is your background?
He is a bounty hunter.
All right.
So he grew up being a guard for his whatever you would call it, his clan. I don't really know what the terminology is for like a gathering of dwarves. But basically he was a guardian of his community and decided that his life was the same monotonous routine day in and day out, and he wanted something different. So he took the skills he learned being a guard and decided to become a bounty hunter and hunts down targets. Anyone, he'll hunt down anyone as long as the coin is right.
Okay. Being level 0, you've hunted maybe a few. Your latest
Full
one...
low level ones, yeah.
You haven't level 1s yet. So, in fact, your last job went a bit wrong. Now, I want you to tell me why it went wrong.
He come off from a successful good, there was a snatch and grab. They just placed a bounty on him. He got that. There was one, it was an assault of a guard in one of the towns. He just happened to be there, took the guy down, got paid for the bounty that would have been issued. This one, it was given to him by someone that he had actually made somewhat good friends with in town. And it was a murder, and the murderer was on the loose, and he was asked to help track him down. There was 5 total that were given it to him, and he obviously accepted. The coin was very good. As he got there, like he tracked the guy down and everything, and as he got to where the guy was hidden, he was ambushed. Doesn't know by what, he doesn't know by who, but he was ambushed, and when he woke up, the guy was gone.
And so your natural progression has brought you to Dorotharg.
Yep.
It's been a few days from the last settlement. It is a bit tiring. Your thirst has not been quenched. Your mouth is a bit dry. You want to get some drink. As you're thinking about going to a possible tavern as you arrived in Dorotharg, you hear a bustle of activity as coming into the front gates of Dorotharg is a fairly large, elaborate wagon being pulled by several horses. And some individuals take some notice of the wagon, some don't really care, but what you do see on the side of the wagon itself is a calligraphy of very, very elaborate runes that are somewhat elvish in nature, but it almost looks like a dance. You're seeing the silhouette of figures dancing. Now, before we do anything further, we'll go to the next character, and now we're going to bring our attention to. Is that Samis?
Samis. Yeah.
Samis, what brings you?
Eh.
Or do you live in Dorotharg?
I don't live in Dorthar, but since my clan was recently, some disease had spread recently through my clan, who does not live in any town particularly. Since she is a kobold, she's a small feminine kobold, who is very green, like a dark emerald green. Um, who is traveling through Dorotharg because she's trying to find a cure for her clan, and she heard rumors of a beast in the area who might have some medicinal properties.
Okay,
She
sorry, continue.
she is about 3 foot 3 inches. She's extremely short, very slender, and she has the only semblance of a weapon she has on her is a blowgun on her hip. She seems very enthusiastic about everything that's going on around her, and honest, a little bit naive.
Easy enough. Same thing. Your travels looking for this cure. Being you're herbalist, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your knowledge, your asking, your inquiry has brought you to Dorothy also, as here has been rumored that there are some nearby locations that can accommodate that might have said ingredients for a tonic to help whatever's occurring to your clan. Now, coming here, you have just arrived in town, and it is, again, you're kind of the same as the dwarf. Your mouth is a bit parched. It's a bit of a light morning, but your travels have been a little bit tough on your body. And getting here, you're still going to want to even have a bit of rest. Now, in the morning, you probably came here overnight, or maybe you just got here and you're just still feeling a bit of that exhaustion and you wanted to relax a little bit, and then maybe next day, go ahead and pursue, or even today, pursue if you're in a rush to find this ingredient, this herbs to go and help your clan. When you also see this wagon being pulled by these horses, being drawn to the market district. And what gets your slight attention on this is that amongst the signage of dancing silhouetted figures on the side of the wagon, you see that there is something that mentions a chemical shop, wondrous potions. This seems to be a traveling merchant of some sort that is possibly about to stake up and start selling the wares. Might be a place of inquiry to see what might occur. As that has brought your attention, we're now going to go to, well, I'm going to go with Amrock until you change your name. Amrock, what about you?
Kutok.
Kutak, go ahead and change your name on your character.
Kutok. I changed it on my character sheet.
Let's see. Got it. All right, I didn't change on my
Play
thing.
configuration.
No, I did. Yeah, play configuration didn't change, so. Release it and retake it. I'll probably do it. So I use that to actually get the
What?
names. Here, I'll do it for you. I'll make it easy. I can do it. There we go. So it's Kutak.
Awesome.
All right, Kutak, what about you?
So, I am visiting his place on the hunt for a giant beast that has slaughtered most of my village. And ah, sorry, my brain is not working the best right now.
No worries, no worries. So, what kind of beast slaughtered your village? Do you even know the beast that slaughtered your village, or was it something you arrived at the night or the
I
next
know
day?
nothing of the beast, as when I was a young boy, my father was slaughtered by this beast when he was assigned to go and hunt it. And now it has become my turn, and the beast has vanished from our village. So I am venturing forth to discover it, where it has vanished to.
Now,
And
you
through my
being
travels, I have heard of this place.
your travels couldn't really have been far. Being your experience, you have almost none. What about the other warriors of your clan? How come they are they on a hunt also, or they have also been killed?
Every other warrior in the village was assigned to go and fight this beast and has been slaughtered by it.
So now it's your time.
Yes.
Do you feel confident, knowing that there were others more experienced, others that came back from other previous hunts, proud, but yet you here being sent? Is it a sense of desperation, a sense of pride? You obviously don't have the experience. Why did you go out?
Out of a sense of desperation to get the revenge for my father.
Got it.
Hey, DM.
Yes.
So I got my shit mixed up. What I told you for the reason Brogar would be here would not be right. I was thinking of a different character that's fairly similar, but is on a different server.
All right, we'll get back to you in a second then.
Okay.
Okay. So, Kutak. Same thing. You are here in town. You're doing search for this great beast that has wiped out your clan, that has killed your father. And you're here just to get a bit of rest before you continue on your journey. This seems to be more of a stepping stone. Dortharg is a place of just a stop, essentially, from what I'm gathering. For you all continue on your way. Again, following those strands of kind of fate guiding you along. Now, back to you, Brogar. What'd you want to recon?
Okay, so the guard, being guard, that's still true. His father was a guard, and his father's father was a guard, and him and his younger brother were both guards. What changes is the reason he is in Doratharg and the reason he is a bounty hunter and not a guard anymore is because one fateful night, um, his little brother murdered someone pretty high up in Dorvan Council and fled. And being I was his older brother and I was a successful guard, at first they suspected me, and then upon hearing about this and being angry and confused, I swore that I would bring back my brother to be judged dead or alive and set off in the uh what would it be? Like they think he went towards Dorotharg, so that's the direction I headed. And then I'm arriving in Dorotharg.
Okay, Reverend Dortharg. Now, it does beg the question, though. You being a successful guard might be true in a sense, but being level 0, what were you guarding?
I would be on mine duty, so like we guard the whatever. Like I'm just gonna say like maybe a silver mine, and my clan or my tribe was known for the silver that they pulled out of this mine, and I was just stationed at the mine entrance, making sure only allowed people were able to go in. The glorified, basically a glorified like hall monitor,
Okay,
but it was a guard.
but you took pride in it, sounds like. You did a good job.
Yes.
You've killed a couple of animals that came by, maybe the rumors of goblins that might have invaded the mines. But for all intents and purposes, you did your job, and now you're out here searching for your younger brother.
Yes. Wanting answers, and if I have to, doing what I must.
All of you have been drawn to this place, not knowing each other, but by again those strands of fate. Sometimes fate, as it will intertwine with itself, or for the rumored some, leaving their own hands to themselves, leaving their own lives to themselves. The gods have been known to be said that they control your life. They already have a plan for how your life is going to end. What you do in the meantime, you're just along for the ride. Some adventurers say hell no to that and try to live their life, but it's always that question, do I actually control my own fate? Sometimes you might think about this, sometimes you might not think about this. But as it were, all of you have a task at hand, all of you have a goal. All of you are in Dortharg in this fine morning, as the activity is now peaking to a crescendo, as the market stalls are opening to the hawks of sellers of meats, of foods, of silks, of items within this town. This wagon all of you have seen does bring itself to one section of the market stalls. And as an individual comes out, some of you all find yourselves to the market square for one means or another. Are they walking to a tavern, going to a shop, going to a information broker, maybe to someone that might have information about individuals or a underworld-esque thieves guild. Your destination always brings you, at this moment, to the market square. Now, let me get out of the game real quick just to say one thing. I never railroad my games, except for slightly in the intro just to get everything involved, get the story started. So there might be some slight railroading, but after this, I'm free to let you do whatever you want to do. So just keep that in consideration. I know some players don't really like that. Actually, no players really like that, but I'm doing some small things to get this thing started, and then we'll essentially have
Yeah,
free reign
sometimes
of what
you
you want.
gotta railroad just a little.
Yeah, just for the start. But as this wagon has stopped, has unfolded, the front door opens up. You see a individual, elvish in nature. He has some nice piercing eyes. And he goes, all right, all right. I see this town is already getting ready to experience the fables of Balkreth. And you see that no one's paying this guy attention at all as you're making your way. But immediately you start to hear music from a lute playing over the winds, coming from within the wagon as another door on the back opens up and an individual gets out, a bard. And he starts playing a very, very melodic, very, very nice tune to everyone's ears. Immediately it starts gathering a bit of a crowd. As this is happening, all of you can kind of feel that sense of just wanting to relax. You're smelling the smells of the freshly baked bread, the wenches bringing out actual beer from local taverns out here, selling to individuals, as you're seeing an actual stage being set up next to the wagon, as this elvish individual and this player are doing a tune. Already a small crowd has gathered forth and sat on the ground watching, passing a bit of coin for some of the baked bread, grabbing a goblet of mead. All of you find yourselves, maybe inherently, maybe not, maybe forcibly, you find yourself drawn to just this performance. In the back of your mind, maybe it's something that is out of your control, maybe not really caring, maybe you never cared for music, but something here is drawing your mind, and you're curious. A nagging curiosity is beckoning to all of your minds as you watch this. You hear from the opposite side of this market square the ringing metallic clang of armor as a old grizzled warrior, obvious by the weapons and armor he carries, does come up forward. and he sees this play happening. All of you there kind of just watching this dance of a woman that has come out from the back of the wagon. Three individuals, which seems to be the main person that has spoken up, the lute player, and then this curiosity of a lithe woman as she starts to do a slow, elegant dance. Again, more of the crowd gets gathered, and you're already seeing coins being offered to a hat at the front of the stage, as it seems to have been a routine that has been rehearsed and done countless times with just the elegance, with the music, with everything that's going on. You start to think of, well, maybe I can wait a day, maybe I can wait a little bit more for things to occur. Let me see what happens here more and more. This old veteran seats himself on the ground next to, well, all three of you find yourselves next to each other. You take a glance over, you see a rather large reptilian folk man. You see a green skinned kobold. You see the essentially chiseled form of a dwarf. You don't really pay each other any mind, but the smell, the old armor, and the scent from the warrior does get your attention a slight bit. And just to make this, let me actually show you this guy real quick. Let's bring him in. You're going to see how I do this now. So here's what this man looks like. He seats himself on the ground. He starts just watching. He's got an old scar over his face as things are getting more and more. And I want to do a quick initial setup. As it's occurring, whether on your own or against your will, Kutak, what does your character, think of this unfolding little show? I'm curious.
This show seems drawing. It seems as though I cannot even look away.
What about you, Brogar?
Um, I do like a good tune, so I'm definitely interested, if not for the talented musician.
So you think the musician is bad then?
No, he'd like it.
Okay.
Like he'd
Okay.
be probably like bobbing his head slightly or something.
All right.
He likes music.
Slight misheard on my part. All right. And
No, you're good.
What about you, Semis?
Samis is very excited. She's jumping up and down, clapping. Just biggest smile on her face as she's watching everything unfold.
All of you have been here for not long, at least to you, not long. But you do realize after a couple of moments that the sun has actually crested the zenith of the sky, going past afternoon. All of you have been sitting here watching this collection of musical ensemble and dance for the last about hour. Not really knowing where the time is going. This performance is so exquisite, is so great, that it's causing you to lose track of time. This is something that is given to the courts of kings, something that should not be for a small little rabble town of Dorotharg, but it's a treasure that you're seeing right now. The woman, the dancer that has been so splendidly moving about, contorting her body in various ways of pleasure. You notice that as she's dancing, the bard still plinking the notes of the lute, you hear a cracking of a bone. Before you register the grotesque nature, the sound of this breakage of bone, you hear another collection of breaking as this woman immediately starts to extend her abdomen section longer. You are vaguely aware of this happening as this veil is kind of lifting from your eyes, as you don't quite hear any yelling, more of just a panicked shock. You see the lute drummer has immediately kind of just stopped, looking at the dancer with unbelieving eyes like he's never seen this before. Even the other individual, the elvish man, looking at her mid motion of trading coinage for the on-viewers looking on, drops coins onto the ground staring at this woman as her arm bends at an impossible angle. You hear quick movement from the side. The old grizzled veteran, the warrior, bursts into action, yelling, "No!" as he runs forward, blade outstretched. Quicker than you have seen before, movement. The woman, her head striking like a snake, hits the old man. Movements from the man, outstretched sword banging against the body as he cuts down the woman in a series of slashing blows. Your mind now comes to you. Your veil has been fully pulled away. You now overhear screams, shouts. No more playing of the lute from the man. No more sounds of joyful activity. Children screaming, men screaming. This warrior plunging his sword into the abdomen of the woman. The breaking of parts of the wagon itself. The bard falling backwards as his chest opens up in a fountain of blood. As what looks like a outstretched hand pointed into a singular point has erupted, extending from this woman's arm into his chest cavity, killing him. People screaming, running away. What do you three think and do immediately?
Brogar looks around to see if there's anybody who needs, like, if there's anybody who's trapped or anyone who needs help.
There are many who have fallen over, some who are scrambling on knees and arms from a fetal position, some too scared to move. You see children a bit crying, tears in the eyes. You see other ones falling over each other's, some getting trampled as about 60 people in this crowd burst away in a single mob away from this woman and this man who is currently fighting her, bleeding from numerous spots, even the woman bleeding from various spots on her body.
The closest person to Brogar that's paralyzed with fear, like how far away would they be?
He is a couple of footsteps.
And it's a gentleman?
It is a gentleman.
Alright, so Brogar is gonna walk up to him. I'm assuming he's like probably fallen over.
On the ground, fallen over, you see that when people have ran away, they've actually trampled his arms, causing them to be broken, as he's trying to essentially get back to his feet, but unable to.
Okay, so I'll walk up to him and kind of like crouch under his broken arm and use that as leverage. I'm like, "Aye, laddie, let's go," and like help him and run away.
The dwarf bursts into action. Very, very few. Very, very different, as you are one of the few individuals that have come forward. As this is occurring, what about you, Kutak? What are you doing?
I ready my long spear to help assist the old warrior.
Kutak, you pull your spear from your back. Its firm grip in your hand, reassuring, and you start to move forward as more strikes from individuals. As you move forward, Samiz, what about you?
She's gonna start off by backing away. This is whatever this is very scary. And she's gonna stop herself, get her courage built up. She's gonna look around and see if anybody nearby is injured in any way before she runs away.
You quickly look around, Samiz. You're seeing, of this crowd of about 60 people burst in all directions, only a handful have stood their ground or even moved forward. The ones you're next to, the dwarf, the reptilian lizard folk, the old grizzled veteran currently fighting the woman. As you look for an individual, the back of the wagon bursts into a shower of wooden shrapnel as a beast, great in size, probably about to all of your senses. In fact, I need real quick. Does everyone here go by pounds or kilograms?
I go by
A
pounds.
pound.
Pounds.
Okay, cool. So if you're European, then I don't know. So a beast about probably 120 pounds does burst out, and it is a vestige of what looks to be a wolf, but much larger. But that is not what is terrifying about this. What is terrifying is what is erupting
Righty.
from its mouth. A orange mist. Now, all of you know what this orange mist is. It is known as the soul fog or death mist. One of the Velosan weapons, or rumored, the weapon that the people that destroy the Velosans use, is known as soul mist. This is a fog that any individual touches, walks through, loses their life. There's always been pockets around the world of this effect. At night, there might be a small pocket in width to hold about maybe 4 people within, not large, of the soul fog. Anyone that sees this moves away. Scholars try to figure out why this still occurs, what's causing it. Is this a remnant? Is this a weapon from the Velosans to use against the armies from the other plane? Is it the army's old weapon to defeat the Velosans? No one really knows. But everyone is knowing that if you see Soul Mist, you stay away. And Soul Mist arrives, unmoving, and then fades away. Right now, everyone sees a beast emitting soul mist from its mouth, looking around as it rushes forward. I need everyone to do the first check of the game. Everyone go to your character sheet, please. Now, if you're not sure how, because we're looking at the world map. If you're not sure how to get to your character sheet, go to the top right. It's going to be the 4th or 3rd tab from the right, which is the Actors tab. You're going to go on that and go to Players, and then find a character and open it up. Everyone is going to roll their will saving throw.
So you just click the little dice symbol, right?
Yes. Fantastic. We got a 17 for Samiz.
Where's the
Oh,
will
good.
one?
It'll be left-hand side of the
Found
character
it.
sheet. There you go.
I hate virtual dice so much.
Now, all of you feel the effect of this beast. Not the mist, but the fear. As going through Soul Mist is a death sentence. And seeing one erupting from a beast causes all of you to become unnerved.
That's
Unfortunately,
panic.
for you, Brogar, you completely panic. Going wild-eyed, you actually become frozen in place. But that's not the worst of it. As the people scream away running, this beast, looking around, now charges forward and slams into all 3 of you. In its movement, its path, all of you witness as it comes towards you, barreling into your body. You all go down into a heap on the ground, a pile, your body, and you black out. Everyone here blacks out. The force from the impact causing enough of a blow to cause you to lose that sense of light. The day approaches you again. You come to. All of you come to. You see wooden planks above you. You don't recognize buildings since none of you are from Dortharg, but you recognize individuals. You see priests that are nearby. You see one come over to you, Kutak. Rest, rest. You've been under a lot of effects very recently. As your eyes open up, as you look at this individual Kutak, you see this priest, Tillian Ray, looking at you with eyes of someone who's already knowing you're going to die. A comfort to a patient who's already passed into another realm. They just don't know it yet. Trying to comfort you. Kutak, your body feels strange. It feels heavy. Your arms feel weaker than normal. And if the tales have been told that you might have seen before, you realized your last sight was of this beast rushing towards you, past you, but you getting enveloped by the mist erupting from the beast's mouth. Samis, the same individual who is attending to Kutak, comes over to you, draping a wet log towel over your forehead from your intense sweating. He's going, rest, rest. As the same thing with you, the last you can recall is your own sense of life, as this beast also barreled into you, past you, enveloping you in the fog. Brogar, the same thing. All of you know the tales. All of you know the effects of this. All of you know that you have moments. If you're already in this place, they're just preparing for you to lose the last of the light in your eyes. You're being comforted for that eternal sleep that is coming. Around you, you see there are already numerous beds. Sheets over the faces. You count a dozen individuals that are never going to wake up. Sniffling, crying individuals in the background. Lovers, husbands, wives, family members of ones that have already perished. You look over to the other side, and you see that same grizzled veteran, coughing, multiple individuals, priest of Villain Ray, around him, bandaged from numerous cuts on his body. He's looking around. Leave me be! Leave me! I'm already done for. Kutak, what's the first thought that goes through your mind?
This can't be the end. There must be more to my tale. I never got the revenge on my father.
Come, relax. I know you be in a bit of pain, but it'll pass in moments. You're tough. You're very tough. As you feel a comforting hand on your shoulder, Kutak. Samis, what's your thought?
It can't end like this. I never found the cure. My clan, they're all going to pass. I was the only hope.
Another
Please don't let
comforting
this be
hand.
the end.
Another comforting hand comes to you, reassuring you that you can relax. Brogar, what about you?
As he is sitting in the bed or laying in the bed, his face is stern, but his eyes are hollow. And in his head, over and over and over again, he's just repeating, brother, brother, brother.
All right. We're going to do another roll, everyone. This time, please go ahead and give me a fortitude saving throw. Samis,
23 to me is nice.
Samiz, you feel a bit of coughing fits. Momentarily, Brogar, Kutak, you also suffer coughing fits. Some of you might have seen this effect before. As all of you are racked with this intense coughing, you bring your hand away from your mouth, Kutak, blood, your own, covering your hand. Brogar, same as you. This soul mist is already causing you to lose your life. The unusual resilience of Samiz, keeping most of it down, but you still see flecks of drops on your hand, Samiz, or the towel in front of your face, or whatever you might use to stifle the coughing. A bunch of other priests come next to you, reassuring you. All of you look like you're really the only individuals here alive besides old grizzled veteran. He looks over at all of you. Strong ones, you seem to be. You have a will about you that has kept you alive. You don't want to let those strands of fate take you, do you? You
I can't fail. So much better.
you don't have
Done.
a lot of time. If you want to fix what you have, you need to go to the Wailing Hills. You have that death upon you. Inside there you'll find the cure, like I once had. If you want to die here, then you lie in that bed. But if you're stronger than the rest of these poor fools around you, seek the hills. Cast off those bonds of fate on you. Cast them off. As he gets
What about you, old one?
he gets wrecked with just coughing fits of pain. You're seeing blood freely pour from his mouth as either he chooses to ignore your question or can't hear your question anymore. He goes still.
So Misa's gonna try to get up out of her bed.
This is probably the biggest struggle you've ever had, Samis. Clawing yourself out of the bed to stand up is a Herculean task. At first, it almost seems impossible, but after moments, you get yourself steady on your feet. Brogar and Kutak, you see the same thing. You see this small kobold, against all odds, stand up, still sick, with more life than the other 2 dozen bodies lying dead inside this chapel.
As Brogar sees that, his eyes kind of like go back to how they should be. They're not as hollow, and he just kind of chuckles and he's like, "Aye, lass," and then struggles to get out of bed and stand up as well.
Same thing for you, Brogar. This is something you probably have never experienced before pain-wise. Everything in your body hurts. Everything is heavy. The first moments feel like there's just something pressing you, like a god's hand is pressing you down. But eventually, you pull yourself through it. As they do more and more seconds pass, it gets easier and easier till you're now standing up next to your bed, where Samiz is also standing, now breathing more freely. But occasionally, both of you get hit by a bit of coughing that does have flecks of blood in it. Kutak,
As
continue.
Well, you don't
Thank
think
you.
I'm going to be the one left here, do you? As Kutok starts getting up.
Kutak, same thing. It takes all of your effort, everything about you. You finally pull yourself hand over hand, turn yourself over, and you stand on your own two legs, looking at the other two wavering forms. Around you, you hear murmuring. All three of you look around, now breathing a little easier, now be able to feel your own kind of body for the most part. The priest, Villain Ray, around you going, that's impossible. How are you still alive? And they just stare in almost disbelief at the three of you.
as they say that, I kind of look over at the other two, and at this point, I've got a determined look in my face and a smile upon my lips. And I look back at the priest, and I'm like, "It's gonna take more than that to stop me from finding my brother."
Revenge is strong within us.
Such strong wills.
I don't want revenge.
Or within me, I guess.
Sorry, that was really funny.
But a drive, a goal, a task, something that drives you forward, something that is given you, a step away from the strands of fate, something larger than life. All of you find yourselves on your feet. Now, from GM to player, what would you like to do?
I personally think we should, or Brogar wants to get all his equipment together, make sure he can still wear his armor and wield his sword. Even if it's difficult, he would like purposely wield it before he left to get accustomed to it. Because assuming if standing up was difficult, I can't imagine adding a whole bunch of weight to you would be the easiest thing right away. And then after that, kind of looks like turns to the others and is kind of looks at them, a glint in his eyes, like, "So, Wailing Hells, it sounds like, yeah."
Yeah, that's what he said. Let's hope for the best.
Kutok gathering his gear. I guess so.
Now, out of character, that was the railroad, which means at this point, I'm actually giving you all free reins to do what you want to do. That was just kind of the intro to get you all involved in the game. Start with the story essence of what to do. So now we're going to go to the traditional back and forth of GM to players. So all of you have a task at mind, and your supplies are actually already nearby. At the foot of the beds, all of you find your gear. You've essentially been stripped down of any type of armor, just having your underclothing on, but your weapons will be at the door. But your own larger belongings will be at the foot of the bed for all of you.
Yep. So I pick it all up, equip it as we leave, grab my weapons and everything.
Same.
As well.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to leave any of that behind.
All of you got
I
your
don't-
belongings. Oops, sorry.
I don't have any money, so I wouldn't really like go around town. I really think the first thing Brogar would do. Well, actually, what time is it right now?
It is currently, in fact, I actually meant to do this. I'll have to put it in somewhere else. It is just after midday, so it's probably about, I think, an easy 2 p.m.
Okay, and then how far away are the hills from?
Actually, let me reiterate, that's actually incorrect. It's probably about 4 or 5 o'clock. The hills are going to be about maybe 2 hours away, if at a brisk pace.
So we'd get there probably as light started to disappear.
Yes.
Can we make a brisk pace dark condition?
Well, if you got dark vision, it'd be great. If you don't have dark vision, get a torch.
I actually think I do have dark vision. How would I check
It
that?
will be on your sheet.
Which-
So if you look at your character sheet, if you look at the senses on the main section of the sheet, you will see it. So I do see that Simiz has it. Kutak does not,
Yeah,
and Brogar
I
definitely
do
should have it
as well.
as a dwarf. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if it's all good with the rest of the party, I would rather get there and then make camp there. Um, instead of spend the night in town and then waste day traveling there.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's the thing
But
that comes to
I would
everyone's
need to get
mind. Sorry.
torches first.
So
I
that's,
also have 5 torches.
so that's the thing that's gonna come to everyone's mind. You don't really have time. As you're standing, as you're feeling your strength, you're feeling almost normal self. Something feels a little bit off. But what you do know is that occasionally all three of you do start coughing. And when you do cough, you do have those flecks of blood. Which means waiting really isn't a good option right now.
So we think in brisk
Head
pace
now.
there, immediately enter and try to get this solved by morn.
That's probably our best bet to survive.
If we die, we're dead anyways.
If we
as
die, we
as
die.
as we come to that conclusion, Brogar pulls out his clan dagger, and he's like, "It's as good as way for any dwarf to die."
As you have that dagger out, as three of you are in conversation, a woman, a human woman, probably about her late 40s, does come up to the group in view, and she more intently looks at you, Samiz. She's going, "What? You survived! Save my husband! Save my husband! Save my husband!" And she's grabbing her hand, Samiz, and she's just going, crying freely in her eyes, just pleading to you, "You survived! Help him, please! Help him! Help!" And she is hysterical when
Samiz
she's
looks
looking at
very
you.
frightened. Samiz looks terrified with this woman holding her hand. Where's husband?
There, there! They already put sheets over his head. Wake him up! Wake him up! Wake him up! Wake him up! And she is kind of beyond reason right now.
Right, I'll try. Just let me go, please.
As you're saying this, she is just kind of still gripping her hands, and you can see in her hysterical state, what to say, Tupac, Kutak as well as Brogar, you see this woman just squeezing Samiz's hands, to where her fists are white, and you're starting to see, I imagine, a bit of pain on Samiz's face. You see a couple of the priests actually come by, going, "Ma'am, please calm down, please calm down." Actually trying to calm her down. What are you two doing?
I think
Ma'am, we shall
Brogar.
do all that we can.
Brogar, what are you doing?
I was gonna do the same thing. I was gonna kind of issue her that we would do what we could, and then turn to head out.
As the priest
Samiz
kind of
just
pry
shoots
her
you a
hands,
glance like,
the priest pry her hands away from you, Samiz, and one of the individuals here, in a nice flowing robes, looked at you, Samiz, and just with sad eyes goes, "He's already passed. He wasn't like you three. She is beyond the veil already."
oh no.
And upon hearing that, Brogar kind of stops and he looks back and kind of gets a more serious look on his face. And he's like, "Then we'll take down the beast that did it."
We don't know where it went. Once it chaos through the town, the veteran here killed. Well, you'll need to probably talk to someone. I don't know the full details. Just that the beast is no longer in town anymore.
We need to fix ourselves before we...
I don't know what that man said to you, but you've been stronger than anyone here. Bless you. And I'll pray to Ellen Ray that you survive everything that You survived this. I hope I hope you survive. But you can see in his eyes, he really doesn't believe it.
Well, thank you. We should go.
Rogar says nothing and exits.
Same for Kutok.
She heads out after she finishes
All of
saying
you,
what she
sorry,
said.
all of you finish getting your belongings together, and you step out into the almost setting sun. Not right now, but it'll be relatively soon. Again, more of those caffeine fits, but you're able to kind of keep most of it down. But you do know that you're under a clock right now. You see people actually very, very somber looking around. No longer do you hear the sound of the anvil with the dwarf and his banging with a hammer. You don't hear the children laugh in the streets. The town's actually taken a very, very drastic turn with whatever just happened. People
Would
look at you.
we know what direction those hills are?
Yes,
Okay.
because you can
Just
see.
wanted to make sure we didn't have to ask anybody.
So one noticeable feature about the Wailing Hills is that when you look at them, it has a perpetual haze of that same mist that erupted from that beast's mouth. This is a orangish mist that always cloaks the hills. Now, all of you know, not from being from Dorthar, but knowing of these pockets of soul mist. Again, you always stay away. Every now and then, on locations that are steadily and always have these soul mist, there's been tales and stories, and you all know that sometimes children, teenagers will boast to oppress a loved one or oppress a potential loved one to get close to the soul mist. So you get the closest without actually touching it and then go away. Sometimes some inadvertently go into it and die, and some just get scared. But it's all known throughout the realms. When you see soul mist, you stay away from it. And you can see the hill of the Wailing Hills that has this haze of soul mist around it, knowing that no one goes there. It's like a beacon in sight.
Well, that's
I,
where we're headed, I guess.
yep. Onwards.
Press
Whatever's
on
ahead.
to victory or death.
All of
Preferably
you
victory.
secure your belongings, and as you make your way to the actual gates of the city, everyone steers away from you. You hear
Yep, that's not
children in the
surprising.
streets. Mommy, I saw them. How are they still? Why isn't Daddy like they are? And you see people say, "Stay away, stay away. Maybe they're contagious. So the city should kick them out. They shouldn't be allowed back inside the city." And there's a mix of reactions. As you being the only three that survived this incident this day, and no one wants to take any chance of what you might be. Even the guards stay away from you, as you are given access to the wilderness outside of Dortharg. The crowd just watching you from behind, wishing you never come back. Some might wishing you recover and live good lives. Most just saying, those poor fools. You start your walk forward. The sun slowly inching towards that horizon. The wind picking up a little bit. Amongst that breeze of wind, you can still sometimes get that sense of a slight smell of the baked bread from earlier in the day. Before you're reminded of the terror, the chaos, whatever that being was, that acted almost like a snake. The journey, for all intents and purposes, is mostly easy. It's a walk. It's pleasant, as pleasant can be in your current condition. But you can see the hills of the Wailing Hills approaching. Sun is getting a little bit lower on that horizon, but you still have light to go about the day. As you're getting closer, excuse me, as you're getting closer, you're realizing you're now into a place where most individuals stay away from. You're approaching a place that everyone knows if you enter into, you're going to die. Some go here voluntarily to end their lives. And you see that. You see there are actually, as you're approaching, there are gravestones where individuals have left old flowers, old little baubles to loved ones that decided to take an easy way out, as it were. Almost a unspoken graveyard. But as you're approaching, your minds can drift whatever which way you think. There's a path that does lead up towards what might be up there. Unused, overgrown with vegetation and other effects. Tracks of animals steer away from it, go around. Even animals know to stay away from the soul fog. After about 2 hours, as the shadows are starting to stretch across the ground, the fingers making odd, almost unusual, maybe sometimes scary sights along the ground. Almost like you're entering a place that even the shadows don't want to enter, or they're being changed, warped by this perpetual fog of death. And someone's getting a phone call. As you're nearing, is there any preparations the three of you would like to do?
Make sure I don my armor, obviously.
Your armor will be done, most definitely.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, not really. Since I don't have a class, I'm pretty take sword, swing sword, hope I hit.
Absolutely. Luckily, not many things. Not many things actually find you. Being so close to these hills, things stay away. Now, all of you know that there are dangers out in the wild. There is numerous entities, goblins, other untamed or uncivilized tribes of orcs that have not taken up the mantle of the gunpowder and the gun and civilization for that matter. In all manner, especially into the
There are
burning.
guns in this?
Indeed, there are. Into the
I
burning
didn't know that.
expanse. It is very, very new. It's not out yet. You can't even do it yet, so don't worry about it too much.
Oh, okay.
But the orcs. The orcs are a brutish. They are a barbaric people. Except for a small portion that accidentally found a chemical compound that allowed the construction of gunpowder, allowing that section of orcs to skyrocket in wealth, power, and influence, and society. And many orcs look at them with disdain. They say we have gone past our barbaric ways. But in the very far north, the orcs have actually taken upon themselves and become inventors because of the gunpowder that they solely have control over.
Prepare yourselves for whatever might lie ahead, is what I would say.
It may not be an easy path, but it is one that we have to take.
Sammy's is gonna. "Oh, okay. She's gonna sit down real fast and tinker around with something, and she's gonna produce using her reagents and her advanced alchemy. She's gonna create one of her elixirs of life.
Gotcha. As you are preparing, you watch as Simi starts mixing together a bit of ingredients from a pouch she has, and she pulls out, or she makes 2 vials of this red licorice tonic that she, I guess, puts back in her pocket. And all of you might pay it a casual glance, maybe ask a question, but as the sun starts getting a little bit over that horizon, the last of its light cresting all of you, even the glow of the soul mist has its own almost light in hue, but you can all see this wall, this haze of this death mist that stretches around the entire hills. No one ever gets as close unless they want to die. You find yourselves next to it. What do you do? You know,
I guess we should
the individual
probably
that
go
steps
in
into
there.
this dies instantly. For that, you see their bones. There are actually more than several dozen bones of individuals that have ran forward to succumb to this unmoving wall of fog. And even here, the garments still lie. You see, there are old, tattered remains of leather. Sometimes you see a ring on one body. Individuals unable to be picked clean by bandits, crows, animals, but only by time and weather, have been corroded by upon. You see them still laying here in a forever sleep.
Can I look around and see if there's any obvious like gaps or anything?
You do not see any. You see that there are a couple of areas that might have like a natural or a unnatural bridge where you might be able to go underneath. But as you take a look, that mist also just goes. It's like this mist purposely creates a wall around.
I look around the rest of the party. I'm like, well, we got two choices, I think. One, we can just go and try to scrape out whatever existence we have till we succumb. Or we can belly up our courage. We can look at this death mist in the face. We can walk right through it.
Well, fine.
So
I don't
be
We're going to
it.
die either way, so we should probably just go through the mist.
This might be a quicker end, or we might get the cure. One or the other.
It's gonna take a little more than fog to scare this dwarf.
I am very
And
scared.
with that, as I say that, I take a step into the mist.
Oh,
In I go.
I guess I follow.
You're the last one to go in, and it's reassuring to you, Samis, because as Brogar being the first one to enter into this, he could be the first one to fall. But Brogar, as you go into this, the same hue, the same colorization, the same fog that this beast emitted from its own mouth, you enter into the haze, and you feel little pinpricks on your body. Something you didn't really recall with the beast, maybe because you just blacked out immediately afterwards. But as you go into it, you maybe have held your breath, maybe not, but eventually you have to breathe. And when you do, nothing happens. You are fine. Another hiffing fit of coughs does hit your body, but you're not like the other individuals, and you soon find yourself actually past the grouping of skeletons on the ground of individuals that tried to run through or accidentally killed themselves by trying a grotesque game. Followed by Kutak and then Samis. All of you enter into that veil of fog, and eventually it starts to get thinner and thinner, and then you're actually what you believe under this dome of fog. The ground around you actually becomes clear in sight. There's still wisp of this fog around that just seems to come from the earth and kind of just blows up. But you three know that no one has stepped foot on this place for a long time. Although you do recall the old warrior did say that he himself has done this.
Look around to the other party members with a big smile on my face. Well, we're not dead yet, are we?
Not yet, at least.
Apparently not. She's gonna look around and see if she can see anything.
All
Below
right.
this cloud.
So now we're going to talk about some of the actual mechanics of what's it, Savage Worlds, of Pathfinder. So one thing is that of hidden roles. And so anytime we do a perception check, I do it for you as a DM. Because in a normal game, in D&D or other games, when you roll a perception check and you roll low, you kind of just inherently know. Now, obviously, you can role play it off of not doing anything, but I do like the aspect of you actually not knowing how well you rolled. So if I tell you there's nothing there, you need to see. You need to gauge. You need to ask yourself, is it because there's nothing there or because I just can't see it? At least that sense of the unknown, which is what I actually like, which is actually one of the rules I will use always for this game. So with that being said, I'm going to roll everyone's perception check on my side, and then I will relay information, if need be, to those of you that might have passed.
As a whisper, right?
Yes. There's actually going to be a new way to do it, and let me go ahead and do the check first, and then we will go ahead and get to it.
Okay.
As you look around, you see that there is a actual trail. It's an old road that, not road in the sense of a cart wagon, but it's an old path that has a bit of cobblestone on it that does lead up into deeper of this series of hills that are now being surrounded by this fog. On top of that, you see that there are a couple of small wooden poles in the ground that allow like a kind of a walk path or a footpath that follows it. You're essentially looking at a road that leads deeper into the Wailing Mountains, or the Wailing Hills. And given to that name, you now actually hear what gives the hills that name. You're hearing this ominous, this very, very unnerving series of sounds. And you realize, just because you're here now, that the cracks in the ground are actually allowing almost like a whistling tune, but a chaotic, a unnerving whistle, a tune. The wailing comes from all of the gas, all of the mist that is actually arising from the ground. Now, to your inside, you see that the mist that envelops the Wailing Hills is actually escaping from the ground. And its motion is what's giving the hills its name.
Well then, should we take the high road, so to speak?
Aye. It's as good a plan as any, I suppose.
As you start making your way up, you're hit by another racking set of coughs. Everyone, go ahead and give me a further 42 saving throw, please. Get you all comfortable with rolling skills here. Or saving throws.
16.
Not bad, Samis. Almost, Kutak. Almost. Alright, Brogas, Samis, Kutak, you start getting hit by that series of coughs again. Kutak, yours goes on a little bit longer, a little bit more than the others. You actually are going to take a bit of damage. Kutak. Already put it on your character. You'll see it. You took 1 point of damage as you have more blood than normal for what normal could be on your hands. Given more of that emotion that, yes, this is not something we can just not think about. This is something that is urgent, that is happening. You start pushing yourselves forward, following this road, going deeper, following whatever this old warrior said, seeing what's in the middle of this place. Obviously, there's something here. There's a path. Paths always lead somewhere, but what is there, who knows? You move as the sun is now starting to leave almost a vague illumination of orange, a twilight cast along the ground. the fog is given its own hue around, as I mentioned, and it's very, very disturbing in that sense. But it's actually very, very dark still. Would any of you like to actually pull out a torch and use it?
I do not actually have a torch.
I have a torch and flint and steel, so I'll pull out a torch and light it. But I'll hand it to probably Q-Talk because he's the tallest.
All right. Bro, you put your torch, you hit it with your flint, it lights up, and you hand it to Kutak. Kutak, do you take it?
I take the torch and I hold it high above head
Okay.
to
High it's
light the
still
path.
you're still far below the roof of this mist that is going all around, and it does cast a glow that goes around. As you're moving forward, you are following this trail, and eventually you actually see ahead of you is a series of crumpled, damaged marks on the ground. You realize that there was a bit of a small ravine where there's a natural stone path that does actually move over it. At one point, there might have actually been a river down here in ages past that carved through this area. But right now, it's just a drop that goes very, very far down. Going across it, y'all realize it's not going to be easy. It's actually going to be a bit treacherous.
If we survive this, it shall be just like the stories. I have heard of all of the adventurers returning home from their massive victories.
Aye, lad, but you got one thing wrong. There is no if for me. I will survive this. I must face my brother and get answers.
Just mumbles to herself a little bit.
So are we looking at like a jump, like we have to jump across this gap?
So this is going to require a actual skill check. In this case, this is going to be athletics or acrobatics.
How do I?
Now, Kutak, did you
Hey.
get that message?
I did.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah, I
everyone.
can. Yes.
I see a backpack on this path.
As he points it out, all of you realize that this winding path, think of it as a natural bridge over the small ravine, and almost to the side of this little path, in a couple bushes, hanging on by one branch essentially, is actually a old pack that you can tell there are items inside it just by the way it's being bulged out by whatever's inside it. And this pack is very, very precarious that it could probably drop the moment one of the branches of this old little like bush snaps, leaving whatever's inside it to essentially jumble and fall over the edge. But this is something that you do see that does get your attention. What would you like to do about that, if anything at all?
Turn to the lizard folk, 'cause I don't know his name yet, and go, you're tall, you have long arms, can you reach it?
I don't know.
Well, there might be
Let's go
something,
find out.
might be something worth taking, might help us on our journey.
You can't
Through
climb
this
down
fog.
towards it. You can essentially kind of hang your arm over the edge and try to grab it. And it's actually enough of distance to be rather difficult. And so anyone wishing to try this is going to have to essentially use a. Let's go and find a skill that'd be noticeable for this, usable for this. So what you saw, Kutak, is that you've seen something by a perception roll that no one else really saw because no one else got that message.
I look at
Okay.
Kutalk.
How badly do you want this bag?
I I have a funny feeling it could have clues as to what we are on our way to. After all, the old warrior did say that we were that he was here once before.
Not gonna be easy to grab it from there. And you've only got one shot.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Can I see, does the pack have an armhole or something like that?
There is actually what's the word I'm looking for? An arm piece for it that's actually hanging on the branch.
I happen to have a great axe with me that I could reach down and try to hook the bag with.
That you can. So I'm gonna talk about another mechanic of Pathfinder, in that compared to D&D, you have a success, you have failure, but with Pathfinder you have critical success, so you have failure, critical failure, success, and critical success. Now that's not by hitting natural 20s. Hitting 10 over the DC grants you a critical success. Hitting 10 under the DC is a critical failure. This is for combat as well as skill checks. So, this is going to require a thievery check to do this in such a way to not cause this pack to fall to the bottom of the ravine. So, which one of you fine gentlemen wants to give me this thievery check?
Wait, what about? This is a ridiculous idea. What if I took off my armor and was just in my clothes, and he lowered me down, holding onto my ankles, and I could just grab it?
I might be a little bit lighter to lower.
He could do that. Do you know the consequence of a crit fail? It means you're probably going to fall to your death.
Yeah, that's why I hadn't said anything. It's up to you. If you want to go thievery, or I assume what would that be? That would be a strength check on his part.
Probably strength or athletics, whichever one is higher.
So I don't actually. Oh, there we go. I see strength, which is 12, but I don't see athletics.
The athletics
the
is on your
skills tab.
proficiencies tab.
Mm-hmm. Which is going to be the third one from the right.
Yep.
Both have a +1.
Oh geez, I have a
so
plus
it
4 to
doesn't really
athletics.
matter.
Maybe we'll try the axe thing then.
All right, let's see here.
Now, because you're
Thievery,
using
I
the
have
axe,
a +4 on, so
because you're using the
Yeah,
axe,
definitely try the axe thing.
I'm going to give you +2 to the roll.
Oh, sweet.
How much would you give us if we used the dwarf?
Oh wait.
I'll probably do a straight roll, but if you crit
Thievery
fail,
is
it's going
+4,
to get really bad.
Yeah, let's use the axe. Especially if you've got a +4 to thievery. That's such a better plan.
Actually, it was survival. I don't know why I saw it as thievery.
Oh.
That's just kind of where my brain's at right now.
I still say we
Alright,
attempt
your
the
turn.
axe
So,
maneuver.
a thievery roll. Here we go.
So, Kutak, you use an axe. Use the handle or use the part of it to snag onto that backpack. And as your axe is over there, you actually start to get the bag. You get the arm sleeve or the sleeve of the bag onto the edge of the axe, and you start to pull it up. And as you do, you start to get a bit of that smile on your face that you actually got this thing when you hear a rip, and the bag actually rips from just corrosion, and it just tumbles down and just falls into the deep valley of this little area. and you hear about maybe 2, 3, 4 seconds later, just a whack as it hits the ground, very, very, very far away.
That is a long drop.
Sure, I'm glad we didn't dangle you down, huh?
I. Well, turns at that he turns around. He looks a little shaken. I mean, he is just a fucking untrained guard for the most part. This is very real for him.
That did not look safe.
As you are there on the side of this land bridge, all of you immediately are hit by hundreds of small bats that
Oh, geez.
have carved out their own life within this own little biome of an environment. All of you kind of thrown back away from the stream of bats that got disturbed by this falling boulder from above into their
Oh,
home.
goddammit.
The bats come flying above, and then you watch them. They stay underneath the actual veil of the mist, and they just go off to the distance, away from where you're trying to go, away from where the path is. But they find probably another home for themselves, or they have another home. But you just watch as these numerous bats just kind of fly away from all of you, startling you as you might not have expected to see actual life within this place.
Fascinating.
Guess they've been trapped here a while.
Yeah, or they can go through it.
You look, and none of the bats actually go towards the top of the veil. You see underneath it.
I'm definitely trapped. Well, shall we continue?
Oh yeah, we should probably be on our way.
Especially so we don't care.
Then I will attempt to make that jump.
Didn't you say there was a?
Yeah, I thought he said there was a bridge.
It's a natural land bridge over the ravine. The side of the bridge is what had the actual backpack that did fall. But to get across successfully, unopposed, eventfully, you need to roll me a athletics, please.
I will just roll that now.
Go for it. Good
17.
roll,
On
sir.
mine.
Oh, I
Not
like
so
that
good
die.
roll, sir. All right.
I'm not
Brogar.
the only one who rolled under 10. Okay.
Brogar, you start going across as the path starts to narrow, leaving not much room to actually go which way. And as you are all moving across, Kutuk, you actually do a step, and you'll hear the as parts of the ground, you can hear the rock starting to crack, either from your weight or just from the disturbance of not being stepped upon for such a long time. You do a bit of a pause as your heart starts to race in your chest, as all three of you hear the ground start to give way. What do you do?
Dash towards the other side.
Are we? Which side are we closer to?
You are closer to the opposite side. So you've made more than halfway across when this starts to occur.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dash towards the
Let's-
side we're closer to.
Let's dash towards the closest side.
All right, Brogar, you start moving with a giant haste. Sumi is followed by
I'm a
Kutuk.
dwarf. I'm used to rocks.
That's why you did so good. So you get across actually relatively unopposed. You kind of know where to step. Being a dwarf, you know how to handle and where to go. You know what kind of rocks are good, what rocks are kind of bad. You get across as
Isn't
Kutuk-
that like a thing with dwarves? Don't they like ignore difficult terrain and shit because they're a dwarf?
most likely.
I thought I read that somewhere. I don't know if that was Pathfinder or D&D though.
Some dwarves I'm pretty sure here
Indeed.
do. But as it is, Brogar, you get across very easy. Kutuk and Samiz, as both of you are running, the ground beneath you starts to break away. Brogar, you're fine to roll. Kutuk and Samiz, I both need to give me a dexterity. Sorry, not dexterity, it's a D&D. Give me a reflex saving throw, please.
Dick. Is it bad that I'm kind of enjoying this more than D&D?
I'm not saying
Damn,
anything.
I
you
rolled a
plus
7.
5 to reflex? Holy crap.
All right, Samiz, as the ground, actually the bridge, actually breaks and tumbles away, kind of like the Gandalf scene from Lord of the Rings. It breaks apart as you leap across. Fine, Kutok, in your weight, because you're the biggest guy here, you try to jump across, and as you about to leap, the ground breaks away, making you do a half jump, and you hit the edge, and your feet are hanging over. You just scramble, and as you do, you actually start to break your nails in your hands just from not falling over the edge of this place into where your backpack has went. And eventually, you get yourself onto the top, just going as hard as you can. But as you get to the top, probably being pulled up by Brogar and Samiz, you realize that your hands are just kind of torn up from the rocks, giving you another point of damage. But you're at the top. Your hands are now just bloody
No
from
turning back
scrabbling.
now.
Those look like they hurt. Do you need anything?
I shall live. Unless we don't get the antidote.
Okay, if you say so.
I look at him, and I'm like, could have been a lot worse.
You could have fallen, yeah.
I say we keep going.
Yeah, let's continue.
1 second, adding some water. I'm doing a bit more talking than I do usually in this game. Let's see.
Could be because we're all new.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm just talking a lot. It's fine.
I'm digging it so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. That's what I want.
I like how there's like 3 different saves. Makes it so much easier. It's like you only have to worry about 3 different saves now instead of 6.
Yeah, a little bit easier. All right, so y'all make it across, and as you're actually moving, you're getting closer. You're following this winding path that leads to the terrain. Again, it's still being illuminated by this veil of this orange death mist above you. And you're seeing now kind of these sounds of crickets. You're hearing a bit of noise, of wildlife, of life that has survived underneath this giant bubble that encompasses the entire hills. Places that no one really has gone, as mentioned before. And as you are moving, getting closer to whatever is here, there hadn't been a civilization, there hadn't been a town or a home up here. So again, I want to give some information. You're moving closer. You're starting to see ruins arise from the ground. You're starting to see that there is the formation of objects, that there are, well, old ruins, old signs of life, of something that has been here a long, long time ago.
Huh.
That did
How
not work.
strange is this?
You see that there is a sign, Dwarven in language, that has, on one of the homes, beware the hold of Thorum Hellfist. That's described in Dwarvic language on the side. You yourself, Brogar, realize that there are actually runic symbols of the Dwarvish language all about this area.
Give me a second. I've got food in my mouth. So no one else knows what this says, right?
Nope. So when you get that in the middle of your screen, that is just for you.
It disappeared.
I have it.
Oh, the Game Master one. So the one in chat says beware. I
Yeah,
accidentally
the
gave
one that
everyone.
popped up on my screen disappeared.
Ooh.
So everybody knows it says beware the hold of Thorum Hellfist, right?
Yes, that was an accident, but yes.
Okay.
And I gave it to you again.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what that said. That's right. So Brogar kind of puts his hand on the hilt of his sword, doesn't actually like pull it out, but looks at the rest of the party and look alive. I don't know what's out there, but something is watching us. Can't say whether it's friend or foe.
Well, that's unsettling.
All of you look in the direction that Brogar has pointed, where he saw said eyes, and whatever was there quickly moves away. Not really easy to tell what it is. It's far enough away to have to go out of your way to actually get to where it was, but you can't quite tell what it was. Just that something was watching the three of you as you're moving through this place.
Looks like we aren't alone, like we thought we would be.
I guess not. Good thing we have
Would
anything.
add a character for the rest of this time, unless I specify, Brogar is gonna have his sword out.
Okay.
I know some DMs are super typical about you have to specify you pulled your weapon, so I'm specifying since that Brogar is gonna walk with his sword out.
Okay. So one thing I do as a GM is I'm going to treat your characters like they have common sense. So
Okay.
if you are going to walk through a door, you don't need to tell me I opened the door. I'm not going to give you 1 point of damage for walking to it nose first like a damn idiot. So I'm going to treat your character like he knows what he's doing.
I appreciate that because I cannot stand GMs that are like, you have to specify.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look around. The rest of the party.
So,
Who's first?
Not me.
I guess I'll go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Ah.
As the three of you start making your way forward, moving further and further, deeper and deeper into this place, you're starting to realize that accompanying the wildlife, the insects, you're hearing small little noises. Little chittering. And as you're walking, you hear as a actual rather large rodent, seeing probably for the first time a good portion of food, that being all you three, walking nearby, actually erupts from several bushes nearby towards all three of you. And
Let's
now we will do
this.
the first common encounter of this damn game.
Roll initiative or
Not yet.
Yeah, how do we do that? Or what do we do?
Not yet. I need to pull up the map real quick.
God, it's so weird playing a humanoid. I don't normally play human-esque characters.
What do you normally play, like centaurs and stuff?
Well,
what's
right
the main
now, so I'm in a campaign where one of my campaigns I'm a Dragonborn. There's another where I'm a Minotaur fighter. And then I am a Death Genasi druid whose goal, instead of protecting nature, is spreading his corruption and twisting nature into his own ideal. And he's part of the evil campaign that I'm in. I'm only in one. And then
Nice.
the Death Genasi is like a homebrew race. Yeah, it just is necrotic stuff instead of any of the other elements. Like I can innately cast Speak with Dead because I'm so in tune with death, being a Death Genasi.
Hmm.
One second.
And then I have Brogar here, who I'm actually really liking so far.
Yeah,
This
in my other
campaign-
campaign, I have a Leonin, a male Leonin, who is actually pregnant.
I've always wanted to play
And
a
missing a
Leonin.
leg.
I think I have a Leonin made. If I ever get the chance to play one, I think it's a barbarian.
Yep, I'm a barbarian in that
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah, and then, dude, okay, so this was so cool. I gotta tell you. So I just had the session for my Minotaur. His name is Tyr Bakker, but he just his what would they be called? His brothers and sisters in arms just refer to him as Tyr because apparently Tyr Bakker is too hard of a name to say, so I just shortened it to Tyr. But so they woke up on this place called the Lagoon, and it's basically purgatory for warriors. And he met this guy called Rip, and this guy is like a shark humanoid thing he's basically a god. He's the sentinel of the lagoon. Um, and the Minotaur and Rip got into it, and in one movement, the Rip threw the Minotaur over 40 feet. And when the Minotaur came back, instead of being pissed, he just grasped, and they like clasped each other's forearms and like shared a bond. And the Rip ended up giving the Minotaur a spear, and the point of it was made out of tooth of a megalodon. And so that became his main weapon instead of his dual axes.
All right, so real quick, let's go ahead and show how some things work here. Now, all of you have vision except for Amrock. Amrock, you might notice you have no vision around you. So we actually need to ignite your torch. I want you to go ahead and right-click your token on the map, and you see that little torch symbol at the top left?
Yep,
Click that.
I see it.
Click it.
Click. There we go.
That means you now have a torch. Now, luckily, Brogar and let's see, we're missing Samiz. There's Samiz. Have dark vision, so they actually could see this already. But you had to actually have this torch out, but you get an idea of how torches work. So we now are going to go into combat. Now, again, to make this easy, have everyone go ahead and have your chat window open, and go ahead and right-click that close fist at the top right to open up the combat tracker.
Okay.
Now I'm going to throw everyone into combat. You're now going to see that there are some things for you to click on to roll your initiative. Everyone, before you roll, make sure that your initiative is set to perception on your character sheet. It'll be on the right ribbon, or the ribbon on the left-hand side of your character sheet. Everyone should say perception.
What are we
already.
looking for?
Your perception.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure it
Perception.
says perception for initiative. At that point,
It does.
everyone click on the dice symbol to roll your initiative. Good roll.
20.
Good rolls.
Ooh, 23! Oh, the rats. That's the DM's dice. Not one.
Son of a bitch! Alright. Alright, so now let's go with the first actual combat of this game. You are a juicy morsel, good eatable targets for these rats. I've not had large things to eat in a long, long time. They're very, very large compared to what you normally see, but they're also very, very skinny. They had to survive on meager things, whatever has survived in this environment, and now it comes to you. Samiz, it is your turn. Now, in this game, we have 3 actions you can do. Of these 3 actions, everything you do in the game costs anywhere from 1 to 3 actions. Movement costs 1, attacking costs 1. An easy way to show is here are some basic actions, which I'm going to show with everyone right here.
Oh.
You'll see that little symbol to the right of all of the action names. They look like a single diamond. If you look at ready is 2 diamonds. These diamonds represent how many actions it uses out of your 3. So crawling is 1 action, burrow is 1 action, dropping prone is 1 action, Grab an edge is a reaction. Delay is actually a free action that you can do. Or it's something that doesn't cost any action. It's something just free, as I mentioned.
It's like holding your turn in D&D.
Essentially, works a little bit different here. But the question to you, Samiz, seeing the three rats, looking at all of you for food, something it wants to eat, what would you like to do?
Alright. Just trying to look and see if I could. Like I said, her main weapon is the blow dart, but I don't know if there's a range on it or not.
There most definitely is a range for the blowgun. Um, Here's how you do this. Go ahead and click that. Do you remember how to trigger the blowgun in chat? So drag that blowgun icon to your hotbar and then click it. Doesn't say. All right, here's how you actually find it. We'll see if we can put it in a better information. So it is 20 feet, but if you actually click on the edit button of the blowgun and then go to details, near the bottom it actually says the weapon range.
So if I go to the weapon, then you go to the inventory or actions?
You see in chat, you already have the actions. So would you want to shoot one of the things with it?
This one's clear to her line of sight, so it's that one. So I already have the blowgun out, and I assume I have a dart ready as well.
Yes. I imagine moving to this place, seeing the bat thing, I'll let everyone have the weapons ready. That is fine in this environment. So no action to draw it out. And in this case, one action, just go ahead and just blow a dart at said rat.
Can I use this action to put the tail toxin on the dart before I shoot it?
You can.
Ooh.
All right. So all of you watch as Samiz uses her tail and actually excretes a bit of poison that she puts on the dart and then puts into the blowgun and then puts it to her mouth, and you hear that as it flies towards said rat. Go ahead and click on that strike +5, Samiz, and see what happens. That will be a hit. The dart flies, hits the rat in the side. Roll damage, please. Not bad, not bad. The dart hits her, or the dart hits her. The dart hits the rat. It squeals a little bit, and then it kind of stumbles as the poison starts to take effect. It does happen at the end of the turn, I believe. The poison takes effect, and so it'll get hurt by end of this round. But it has been hit. Now that is your first action to apply the poison. Second action to actually attack. You have your third action now, Samiz. What would you like to do?
She's going to back off because she is not one to be in the front of combat. She's going to hide behind these two.
Okay, just go ahead and move your token. You'll see the
Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to move right here to hide behind everybody else.
Okay, now go ahead in the combat tracker, if you have, hit the next turn button, or the arrow to the right. Because Cryptic, you're on deck, you're next. Or not Cryptic, Brogar. Brogar, take your turn. The dwarf. The rat in the lead.
Brogar.
What do you do, Brogar?
Okay, well, I gotta take an action to move. I've got no way around that. So I will move. We got, what, 20 feet? So how does that, I have to be right here to be able to hit it, right?
So, real quick, everyone, actually, well, you can do it right now, but Brogar, go ahead and drag your movement as far as you can. You see how it changes color?
Yeah, I know, if it's, yeah.
Yep. So if you get into the second color scheme, it means it actually requires you to use a second movement, or a second action.
Gotcha. Okay. So, how would it work? I would need to expend 15. I don't want to be on the same tab. I want to be on the tab next to it, right?
Yes. So it'll be 15 feet out of, I believe, your 25 you have.
20.
Or 20.
Yeah.
Those are slow.
So, yeah, I'll use that.
All right, I'll watch as Brogar rushes forward, his weapon in hand. What What do you do, Brogar?
Yeah.
This rat looking
and
at
then
you.
I will
Food.
take my great sword and I will like swing it up around the back and swing it down onto the rat's spine.
Okay, so we're gonna do some automation. This makes it easier for me, for my life. So we need to target the rat first. Obviously, the target with the green dot on the rat at the top, that's because Samiz is actually targeting it. So I need you to target the rat. Hold down Alt and left click on the rat you want to kill, Brogar. There we go. Now at this point, go ahead and trigger that same page like Samiz did. Drag that battle axe or your weapon to the hotbar and click it.
Drag it where?
You see a hotbar at the
To
bottom
the-
left? The one through 0 keys?
Okay.
Drag it there, and then hit that key.
Where did my greatsword go? Why is it not in my inventory?
Oh, I think you couldn't afford it from we talked about.
No, because you said it would have been all my gold, but I just wouldn't have any money.
Well, then we'll put it on your sheet. There you go.
Drag it down here. Okay, and then click that.
There you go. You now see it in chat. Click on the attack. You swing your weapon, and it does miss. It into the ground next to the rat.
And can I use another action to try to attack again?
You can't. It will be at -5 though if you do. So all of you see how your attacks. You see how you have attack and you have -5, then -10. With Samiz, it was the 5, -4, -8. So you can do all 3 attacks, but every time you do an attack, it's going to use further penalties. So your second attack would be the one at -5. So you can, or you can sit there and just hope that you don't die when it becomes the rat's turn next turn.
I'm just gonna try to attack again. Yeah.
Go for it. Good luck, dwarf. The rat looks at you, and you hit. Nice. All right, so you do
Nice.
one swing, misses. Second swing comes in, and it connects to the face of the rat. Roll damage.
12 damage.
Not bad. As you hit this thing, immediately your swing goes through the rat's head, decapitating it. It just lies there dead on the ground.
The first attack was just a bluff.
All right. Pass your turn, Brogar.
Click intern.
Yes. All right, the large rat, the one that got pierced, take damage on his turn, but it seeing the closest source of food, it comes rushing at you, dwarf. It comes in, wanting that morsel, that section, that piece of food. Its bite comes in for your leg, and it does draw a hit as it connects to your leg, piercing into your body. You feel a bit of damage as part of your calf gets pierced, blood drawing, pulling down. You feel that warmth. Amrock, this rat is attached to Brogar's leg.
Alright, so I'll rush up and I shall use my long spear to attack it.
Nice hit. Connects to the side of the rat. Can you kill it with this blow, though? It does. You hit this rat, and it immediately goes to the side. It goes limp, and then you pull the spear back out, blood dripping. Dead rat, leaving just one left. Now, that was a movement as well as an action. Now, in Pathfinder, though, if you do move, it uses your entire movement for that turn. You can't actually switch your movement. There's some feats to get around this, but if you move, say, 5 out of your 20, and then you're done, you lose the rest of your movement. So you've moved and attacked, brings you 2 actions, means you have 1 action left. So unfortunately, you can't get near that rat to attack it, or get near to it and just be near to it. What do you want to do with your last action, Amrock? Or Kutak. I need to change your guys' actual token names, that's why I'm confusing this.
I think I shall just wait here.
Fantastic. Go ahead and hit pass turn on the combat tracker. That rat is dead. All right, this rat does see the morsel. The dwarf that's been taking a blow is going to, well, potentially take another. Seeing its food source. These rats are intelligent. They don't care about their dead companions. It goes in for another blow against the dwarf.
Oh God.
A critical hit. Will this take out the dwarf in the first adventure? Let's find out. It will. This rat bite comes in. You feel this rat, seeing the first source of food of this size a long time, jumps at you and actually connects on your neck, Brogar, and just bites down to you, giving a bit of a squeal, and you just fall to the ground. Kind of doing a small bit of a twitch as this rat has brought you to unconsciousness. Round 2. Samiz, you see Brogar has fallen to the ground.
I'm gonna rush forward,
All right.
which is one action. And is it an action to bring something out of my bag?
So let's talk about action economy. So, because we're learning, I'm not going to go too much in detail into certain parts until we learn the game, but everything takes an action. Going into a pouch takes an action. Applying that potion to a person will be an action. So, going by that logic, Samiz, moving towards Brogar, going into a pouch to pull out a potion, and then shove his face will be all 3 actions. But it will heal him.
Okay. Yep, let's do that.
Okay, so Brogar, you're on the ground and you just feel your mouth get open as a bottle gets shoved into your mouth.
And then we click the die up here.
Nope,
And it's
do this.
D6
Go ahead and
here.
drag that elixir of life. This should, I'm not sure if it works. I want to see. So try this. See how it works. Go ahead and drag that elixir of life to the hotbar and then click it.
No, I can't drag it into the hotbar.
Try dragging the picture. You know what? That's a consumable. That's why I was trying something. Give me 1 second.
Technically, I don't have the alchemy. The exact. Well, maybe this. Let's try this. I have it right there. Yep, there we go. Alright, I have it, and then.
Click it. There we go. Hit that 1d60 if it rolls. That's in the chat. Okay, so there's roll from there. Nice roll. All right, so you take 7 HP back to yourself, Brogar. And I'll do it for you to make it easy. I'll do the +1. Or, actually, +1. There you go, Brogar. You're at 7 HP. You feel that sense of life come back into your body as you are no longer unconscious. But you are on the ground.
Yep.
All right, Samir, that's your entire turn. Go ahead and pass your turn, please.
Yep.
All right, Brogar, you're on the ground. So you are prone right now. To get off prone, you need to actually stand up by using an action.
Yep. So I'll use an action to get up.
Okay.
Thank you, lassie. I'll repay you sometime in full.
And I will turn and take my great sword and attempt to decapitate the other rat.
Okay. So let's talk about
That should be in range of it, right?
So let's talk about this action economy. Because when you do go unconscious, you do drop your item. So when you get back up, when you wake back up after the potion is shoved in your mouth by Samiz, you stand up prone. From prone, 1 action. Pick up your sword, 2nd action. Then attack, 3rd action.
Okay. Give me a second. Let me... How do I... Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll stand up, pick up my sword, and then turn to slam it down on the neck of the rat in front of me.
Okay. So first off, actually target the rat. So untarget the one that you have killed, and then target the new one.
How do I do
Hold
target
down
again?
Alt and click it again. There we go. Then trigger that card. There you go. Then roll your attack. Ah, it does miss though. Pioneer still has that effect of you being almost dead from the rat. Unfortunately, it does cause you to miss.
And that's my turn.
Rat is dead. It goes to you, Kutak. You see the dwarf stand back up on his feet.
I
Right.
shall take
So we're going to do a real
the
quick pause.
attack.
Because we're going to talk about something
What?
real quick. So this is a different mechanic than D&D. So we'll talk about attack of opportunity and then the area of effect or the area around a target, its threat range. It is different from D&D. So the first thing about attack of opportunity, only a select few of entities actually have this. So unlike D&D, only fighters in Pathfinder have this, and some monsters. Now, unfortunately, rats don't really have this because they're not intelligent to have it. But the threat range of these targets, including yourselves, are for every square around a target, not just 5 feet from the target. Which means this right here is a threat range. Here's the threat range. Here's the threat range. So, Amrock, if you move to here and then to here, this square right here would have triggered attack of opportunity from the rat if it had it. So you can't actually go around a target.
Okay.
Yeah. Positioning is much more important. There's also in this game flanking. I haven't really talked about it yet, but there is flanking in this game. And unlike D&D where you have to be just next to it, in this game you have to actually be on the opposite side of the target to trigger that flanking bonus. So what you want to do, Amrock, is I would say move here and then target the rat, or if you know it doesn't have attack of opportunity, then go where you want.
Okay, and intelligent. And it's got to be intelligent to have attack of opportunity.
Not
Like
necessarily.
some my. Oh, okay. I will find out one day, I guess. If something has attack of opportunity, we try to get past it.
You'll find out, yes.
Do we get attack of opportunity?
Only if you're training it. So fighters get it, barbarians I think get it, and then you have to actually class into it. You have to actually become a fighter. In fact, I think not only fighters
Okay.
get it. That makes fighters much more useful compared to other editions.
Yeah, I'm excited to play the champion though. Once I
Amrock,
actually get to do stuff.
where are you going?
I guess I'm gonna go right here.
All right. Fantastic. It's
and
targeted.
attack the rat
You
with my long spear.
send out your spear. Will it connect, though? Or the rat will have another turn. You swing out. Oh, almost
it
near that
will.
one. It does hit. Good. Can you kill it? The spear swings out, connecting with.
Oh, there's the
rat.
one.
Only doing 1 damage. Only doing 2 damage.
Okay, that was only one action. I have one left. That was only 2 actions. I have
Yes.
1 action left,
Mhm.
right?
So click on that attack at -5 this
Which
time.
would
for
be
long
the
spear.
-5.
Yes.
I'm going to attack again.
Go
That's
for
so
it.
brutal, but it's so cool.
And nice. It does connect.
And damage.
1 again. Unfortunately. 2 blows.
God.
Near death. Not quite dead yet, though.
Poke.
That rat is dead. This one, seeing a target. This actually is now scared. This thing, not liking whatever the hell is occurring right now, actually attempts to scamper the hell off. And it's, I know if you have attack of opportunity, it starts running the hell away. Congratulations,
rat.
you have won your first combat of this game. With one of you being brought down momentarily.
Hey, it's not a good combat encounter unless someone loses unconsciousness. That's what I believe. Dead to rights. That's in D&D. That's what I believe. It's a fun encounter if at least one person drops to 0. Doesn't die because I don't like it when player characters die, but knocked unconscious.
If that's the case, I had literally 1 person got knocked down 3 times in 1 combat encounter in my other campaign. No joke. 3 times the same character got knocked down. And he then, on his third time being knocked down, died.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, since we finished this combat encounter, Samis is gonna walk up to the rats and see if there's anything salvageable from them.
When you walk up to the rat, you actually see that they have just patch marked skin on the side of their bodies. They're really skin. They're much larger than the standard rats you would see in Doratharg. These have been succumbed to starvation for a long time, but they have survived on the mucus scraps. We've seen there's been bats down here. We hear insects that's been going around. We see rats. There's still wildlife in this place.
Can I search those, DM? See what I find?
Where do you go?
Um. All right. Uh, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you take a look around, you can see the holes from which these creatures dwelt. And I don't know about you, but me, my life being surrounded by ore, I kind of have a knack for catching shine, if you get me. And I see some shine in some of those holes, and I'm gonna go investigate. And I will go. Where at, like, would they be like up here?
Give me 1 second.
I will be right back, okay?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to pause because we're going to show this. Well, since he's... Wait, I'm going to take a quick bio break. I'll be right back.
I'll be back for a moment as well then.
Heyo, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries. I take the time to relieve myself. You'll see
Yeah,
there's
that's
something
what I
on the
had to
map.
do. What does this be?
Yeah. Just don't take anything. But that is what has been found.
What is it?
Click on
How
it.
can I? Oh. Dagger, silver piece, copper, and amber.
So that was in one of the holes that Brogar has seen.
Alrighty then. So far, I'm having a blast with this campaign.
Well, I'm
Hey,
glad
I'm
you
back.
are.
Sorry, I was heating up some pizza.
No worries.
And also, Tim, this is great.
Cool. So don't take anything from that chest because that's the loot. Just know how it works out, and then you gotta decide who takes what. But essentially, go next to the chest and then double click it.
Okay.
Wait for somebody to get back, and then you can distribute how you want.
Huh. Intriguing. Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
So what you want to do is go ahead and go next to the chest and double click it to see and open up the chest. That's how you kind of know. This is what's been found by Brogar. At this point, once you decide who gets what, you're going to drag this to your inventory.
Well, if it's okay, good with you guys, I want the ember. You can split the rest.
Fine with me.
Vincent is absolutely just captivated by the dagger. That's all she really wants.
I'll take the silver and copper.
Okay. She doesn't seem to care. She's not in it for money.
Brogar is, but not petty copper like silver, or petty money like silver or copper. He's interested in gold.
We get enough silver equals gold.
Yeah, but I'd rather have gold that equals gold. You catch my drift?
Now,
He doesn't have a super high intelligence, so
Do know. I won't say anything right now, but if it gets involved into fighting, I will split the money. But until it becomes an issue, I'll let you deal with it how you will as a group.
okay.
So, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Can we only have one weapon equipped, or can we have multiple?
So we will eventually start doing the inventory the way it needs to be. But you'll need to have a number of sheaves for what weapons you're actually going to carry. So if you have a long sword and a dagger, you might, or if you have like say a long sword and a short sword, you'll have to have 2 sheaves on your character. I'm not going to go with it right now because you just kind of have it out in the open. But eventually, I'm going to start going into what needs to be correct. Now, to change out weapons is just interact actions. So if you want to go from one weapon to another one, is actually an action to stow the weapon or free to drop it, and another action to pull it out. So juggling inventory is actually going to cost some of your economy.
Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of cool. I really do like the action economy in Pathfinder.
I do too.
Same.
Makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, same.
So far, I'm just enjoying Pathfinder altogether.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's just one of the things I like about it so far.
So yeah, so I've probably done about a dozen perception rolls for all of you, and just seeing when it comes up. But I do like these kind of rolls because I like that immersion of not knowing. I just don't know if something is there if you just miss it, or I like that sense of if you actually see it because you actually saw it, not like, hey, I rolled bad, there's something there and just nags you. So
Yeah, it does. It does. It is really cool. It's a really clever.
I know
concept.
some players hate that. That's why I kind of made it like I specifically mentioned it in the pitch for the game, the interview with everyone. But I actually do like that rule quite a bit.
So far, all I know is I'm full on loving this game.
Cool.
Yeah,
Oh, so-
I'm a perceptive little dwarf, apparently.
Yeah, apparently I am lost in the clouds. Apparently, from my head. In the clouds.
So I'll show you what it looks like on my screen when I do this, so you get an idea. So I'm gonna share this in Discord. I'll do it in our specific chat Discord. I should see if this works. No, it won't. Oh, looks like Raven can't get it fixed. All right. So if you look in chat, this is what it looks like on my screen when I do your checks for you. And then based on that is when I give information relevant to what is possibly hidden or not. In this case, finding the burrow for said items because cryptic, or in this case, Dorgar found it. Brogar.
Murok is actually in the clouds.
What?
Rolled a crit failure on the perception check.
Yep.
You were like, yeah, we just killed some rats.
So you might have
Clean off your
noticed.
spear.
You might have noticed in that crit against Brogar with the rat, it got a crit, but it didn't roll a natural 20. Because in this game, which is again I love about this, is if you get 10 points above their AC, it's a crit. Not just a natural 20.
I gotta say, that's pretty nice.
And so I'm gonna compare it to D&D real quick. So I'm gonna relay some information that might have happened in this game so far with this fight. So when it comes to AC and when it comes to your attack bonuses go up by your actual level. So if you're at +3 right now, at level 1 you're at +4. At level 2 you're at +5, which means every single bonus you get from anything can contribute to that crit. Every point of armor contributes to you not getting crit in combat. This means a skilled fighter will demolish a lower skilled enemy, which is what I love about this compared to D&D. Every single point makes a difference. Absolutely makes a difference because crits are brutal in this game.
Guys,
Yeah.
something I noticed about this combat map, it looks like there are stairs going up this way that lead into a split path.
I also noticed that. Like looks like this way is a dead end.
We really don't have time to
Yeah,
explore.
but this
though.
way it continues off the map.
I know, but do we really want to risk leaving the main path?
Yeah, we
We're
don't
on a
have time to
pretty
explore.
serious time crunch right now.
So
Maybe on
this-
our way
so
back,
this
like if we
aspect-
find the cure or whatever.
So I'll say real quick. This is an aspect of I've been improvising pretty much the entire time so far, but this is an aspect where I'll continue it. Typically, this map is only used for just an encounter, but I'll swing with it. So if you want to go off the beaten path and see what's out there, I'll let you do it.
I think it might be a good idea for something to do on the way back. Like
Yeah,
presuming
yeah,
presume
on the way
when
back,
we
I
get
won't.
there, we find the cure. And then on our way back out, we
That's
go
not
explore all the
exactly
stuff we had to pass by because we were on a time crunch.
Agreed.
I just noticed it and I wanted to mention so.
Yeah, I noticed it too. I was like, it goes down here, but it doesn't go anywhere like that we know.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, GM to players, what would you like to do?
I would like to continue
down the beaten path.
All right. So, as you
fast forward.
continue making your way, we're now going to go back to our general-esque map, which is right here. So you start making your way back up the path. And as you do, you're starting to see more of these ruins. They have a bit of the dwarven language, and it's very easy for you, Brogar, to realize that as you're making your way forward and more of these ruins are coming up, this is actually a old dwarven settlement. Waylaid in ruin now. But there are the iconography, there are the remnants of obvious dwarven make. The construction of the homes, the materials abound, the way that some of the gullies, the way some of the paths have been formed is by dwarven hands. On top of that, as you're getting deeper into these ruins now, you see erupting into the sky is a bit of a grouping, a collection of streams of this soul mist that is just floating towards the sky, what seems to be causing the main bubble of this effect that has been covering this entire place, keeping everyone out, except for you, from the situation that happened. To give to that effect again, everyone, please give me a fortitude saving throw, as again, all of you are racked by these strong coughs.
Come on.
Ho! Ho!
Hey, did that
Oh!
actually change mine to a 16?
Got a nat 1.
That
Oh
you
no!
That is a crit fail. As all of you are, again, racked with all these coughs, you take, all of you, unfortunately, a bit of pain. Samiz, you take actually 2 damage. Um, Brogar,
Ooh.
you take 1
Yes.
damage. And then Kutak, you also take 1 damage. Now, I'm doing this for you, so don't do it yourself. You'll just notice on your inventory or on your character sheets it's been reduced. But all of you are getting hit by these fits of pain. How do you want to proceed forward? What do you want to do?
Push through.
We just need to find whatever cure we're looking for.
Continue
Hey.
searching for the cure.
I want to try to get to the middle of this, because that's where I think it'll be.
Yes.
You start pushing your way forward towards the middle of this place, towards where a central column of this mist is forming to the sky, and you see that's actually coming from the ground, as it's all been here, but you see that there is actually a break, an opening in the ground where this mist is floating from. Around you, you actually realize that there is this looks like to have been a central tower at one point. What it was made for, you're not quite sure. But of this tower, you see that it is connected to the ruins, the formation of a foundation where this mist is coming from. This mist is coming from most likely whatever underneath this tower. Now, there's 2 ways to get to whatever it might be. If it's an underground place, it could be a crypt, it could be a cellar, it could be a basement. You can either go through the ruins of this tower that's broken apart, or go to the edge of the ground where the actual mist, the most thick column, is actually erupting from. Which one would we like to do? Or what would you like to do?
I think I would. I think I would rather go through the tower, to be honest with you. I have a feeling going through the mist would be another fortitude roll, and that could go bad.
as
Yeah.
Sammy's kindly shown us all.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let's go ahead and show another small mechanic of this game. And that is, we can actually do polls. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this. How this works out. If I can actually type correctly. There we go. See if this works. There you go. All of you look in chat, you can actually click on one of the options, and you can see a vote. This is a way to do a vote in game. Okay, well, since there's only 3 of you, 2 of you are going to outnumber the other one. So, typically this is to be used if you can't make a choice. There's a way to do it, or if you want to do other stuff, other options. There's a way to actually do that kind of poll. So all of you go towards the ruins, and this was an old tower that was accommodated. Everything here is old, but this tower accommodates probably width-wise about maybe 50-ish feet. Again, dwarven make. And as you get towards the entrance of it, the entire thing has been crumpled down, fallen over. You see what looks like scorch marks all abound. Like at one point, intense fire, intense heat actually slammed to the side of this tower. And actually inside, in the interior, this place has been brought upon by destruction. All about. And as you're looking around, you see that there is a trap door for a basement, for a cellar. And this most likely will lead to whatever is causing or whatever is deeper down below. But as you go forward and you make your way into the tower, the ground around you shifts. You hear a bit of the rubble around you start to shift itself. A couple of rocks, a couple of bricks fall over to the side. This place is very, very unsteady. How do you want to proceed?
Can I try to open the trap door?
There are rocks around, and if you do with the trapdoor, there's a possibility this thing is going to become unsteady and possibly cause the rest of the tower to collapse. And above you is about still a roughly half story of rubble that could come collapsing down.
Oh.
Keyword is could.
That is the keyword.
Okay, I'm going to stand outside.
I am going to carefully, very carefully, using my knowledge of structures because I'm a dwarf, I'm going to attempt to clear and make it to where I can open the trap door without bringing the tower down on me.
Right, as Barogar is starting to study the area around here to find a way to get this trap door, Kutak, what are you doing?
I'm standing outside just in case.
Would you want to
I'm
help
already
in a
pretty
way?
low. And I can dig people out this way.
Okay. Would it be a way you want to help, or you just want to be moral support?
I'm gonna try to help.
I'll be here in case
I'm gonna follow
it
his
collapses.
instructions. Yeah,
In order to dig you all out.
follow Bragar's instructions.
All right,
Sure,
and
sure.
Samiz is the same thing, or what do you want to do?
I'm gonna try to help clear it out, but I'm just gonna do whatever he says. So if we both die, it's his fault.
Okay.
Don't you worry, lass. Brogar won't let you go.
So, this is going to be something that is going to be you having to be steady and be good with your hands. So, I will say that this is probably going to require a thievery check to actually be finesse enough to not cause anything to become unsteady. Now, because Brogar is going to be the main roller, I want you, Samiz, first to, as you're helping out, roll me, not thievery, but you tell me a skill that might help out here, and I'll let you roll that skill. But tell me how you use that skill. Because Brogar is going to be rolling thievery to gingerly move the debris to not cause a collapse.
I'm thinking probably crafting, just because knowing how to build things would probably help realize like load-bearing rocks and stuff that can't be moved without causing everything to collapse.
But crafting is making something, so you need to make something if you want to use crafting.
I guess, yeah. Maybe.
Now, I would say if you wanted to, you could actually. This is just me, Tony, as GM. You could say like, "Hey, big lizard man, Kutak, go ahead and give me some of those broken or sticks, maybe these old pieces of timber or tree trunks, and make some pillars just in case this place starts to come down."
Yeah. All right. Yeah, maybe use crafting to make some supports around the building to make sure nothing comes around, broken sticks, anything I can find in the immediate area.
Fantastic. Go to give me crafting skill. Okay, we'll go with it. I will give you, Brogar, a +1 to your stealth roll, as with the help of, as you're starting to clear stuff away, watching as Samiz, as well as possibly Kutak, getting pieces of debris items to cause a bit of pillars, braces against the debris in case some shifting does happen. So give yourself +1. We'll accommodate that and go ahead and roll.
Oh,
All right.
Bye, tower.
Let's talk about a mechanic
Bye,
game.
Brogar.
Let's talk about the mechanic in the game we have not used yet, and that is hero points. So, if everyone knows at the top of the sheet, everyone has a section for hero points. Now, at the beginning of the game, everyone does start with 1. So, I'm going to go ahead real quick and give everyone 1 hero point. And this is a somewhat version of
Luck.
kind of. This allows you to re-roll any check in the game. This being initiative or I'll say even damage or a skill check. It's also used if you do become unconscious, you can use all of your hero points to merely come up to 1 HP and be good to go. So, with that being said, would you want to use this to re-roll that, or do you want to go with whatever happens? Brogar.
no, I'll re-roll it.
All right. Go ahead and use that hero point.
There was no pep talk there.
When you use that hero point, go ahead and remove it by clicking on it or by clicking it, and then re-roll that 3 check.
Okay. Come on, die.
Let's be another one. Well,
More like
not much
don't
better, but
die.
better than a critical failure.
Exactly.
Okay. So as you start shifting the debris to make things a little bit better, um, unfortunately, the effect that possibly could have happened that you've maybe looked around at and what Simius has been preparing for actually does happen. As you start moving the debris away, you start lifting that actual trapdoor, you hear the shifting of rocks, and the trapdoor and the area around you completely gives away and falls. And you fall with the trapdoor itself into the cellar of this tower.
Think about the floor falling out beneath us.
Now, luckily, because of Samiz's preparations, the rest of the tower doesn't collapse for the most part, but you do go tumbling down. Samiz as well as Kutak are up above watching. Luckily, all two of you are okay, as now dust just fills the area, as there's now a gaping hole where, well, where Brogar has went.
How much damage you would take on that fall?
You are going to take 1 more damage, sir.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Because
I'm still kicking.
You unfortunately landed on a bunch of barrels.
And I landed on my feet, too.
So Misa's gonna very cautiously look down into the hole, go into the building, look down into the hole.
Brogar looks up. What are you pansies waiting for? Get down here!
Here, give me 1 second.
That was definitely intentional, okay?
You guys an
I
avalanche.
realized there was no way to do it without breaking it, so I just went for it.
Cause an avalanche.
That
that was
intentional.
All right, I'll head on down with y'all.
Is there a ladder?
There is not. Unfortunately, the ladder has been completely broken when the trapdoor and the entire ladder system went down the hole. So how do you two up top want to get down?
Is there a heavy rock or something that I can use as an anchor for like a rope?
There's some definitely heavy debris around, yes. Do you have rope?
I do have rope.
Fantastic. It's easy enough to tie the rope. You get it together and you throw the coil over, and Brogar, as you're down there picking yourself up, you see this coil of rope come flying down to the ground next to you, and now that a bit of the dust is starting to fade away, you can see the forms of Kutak as well as Samiz above you, them holding the rope. After a few moments.
Do you want to come up, or do you
Oh.
want us to come down?
What kind of a knot am I trusting my life to right now?
Cool.
She's got a pretty good crafting skill, so I'd trust her not, to be honest.
I mean,
I actually know a lot about rope tying and stuff like that, IRL.
so are we going down, or is he coming up?
No, I think we should come down.
We're going down.
Okay, this is where we needed to go, wasn't it?
Yes.
Brogar
That's
just went there
where
in
we were
excellent
trying to
fashion.
go.
That he did.
I guess, but
Excellent fashion.
attempt to climb down.
All right, both of you that are coming down, go ahead and give me, at +2 because of the rolls, go ahead and give me athletics checks.
See, if I could have done that, that would have been great.
You make it fine down, Samiz. What about you, Kutak? Can you make it down? All your big Battalion form. Can you make it down?
It's a +2
Yes.
on. In addition to the +1 I already have for athletics.
If you have a bonus, then yes, +2 on top of it.
Okay.
Well,
Oh.
you make it down. Really damn easy.
Hey.
You don't even use the rope. You just jump down.
Sweet.
All right, let me bring you all down here. Now we're going to see a bit of this thing. Do not leave the room. Once I unpause the game, stay within the room while I describe what you see. So, as all of you have brought yourselves down here. Oh, what's Kutak saying?
I actually don't know. I was just trying to see because I remembered that, but
How do
I
I get rid of it?
forgot
Oh, there we go.
about
Yeah.
it at the same
We haven't really used it
time.
yet. It hasn't been really relevant. I've been more of just focused on getting the
I
game
guess doing
started
that.
before we go into that stuff. All right.
Okay.
But as all of you have fallen down here, you see the shifting forms of bats flying about. The groundwork has been completely made up of dwarven-esque tiles. Just by the way they're made, the way they're laid down, the way they've been carved, not really laid, but carved in the stone itself. Brogar, you can definitely tell that these are dwarven-made rooms. There are a
Yes.
collection of barrels. There's an opening that goes to the north as well as to the west. The northern part actually has a couple of barrels piled against the wall, causing a bit of a block. And by a quick visual observation, you do see that the barrels are filled with some type of material to keep it weighted down. But with the lid above them, you can't quite tell what it's made up of. Now, the barrels and the boxes that you landed on to kind of slow your descent when you fell down here had broken apart, showing a bit of items. And as you see on the map, there is some scattering of coinage on the ground, as well as a table that's been overturned. You hear a bit of what sounds like water coming from the north, Brogar, as well as a bit of dripping coming from the west. This being a place that has been untouched for a long time does actually have a bit of items.
Gutok, get over here and help me move these barrels out of the way and let's break them open and see what's in there.
Of course, let's do it. I go over and I help him out.
Yes, get rid of the barrels.
And then I'll just like break the lid, like maybe take my dagger and like pry open a couple of the boards on the lid to see what's in there.
Okay. If you want to take the coinage, you see it in the loot chest.
I'm not in the actual map, I don't think.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm on the big map, so.
Still
my
only
apologies. I actually bring you guys
see the
over.
over map.
It's just only freaking
there we
Brogar
go.
seeing this. Sorry, my apologies.
I'll take the gold or the money. Unless someone else wants to.
You see any gold in there?
Just more silver and copper.
Not interested.
What about you, Samis?
I guess we could take a little bit. I do need a couple of things.
Go for it.
She's just gonna take the silver.
Take what you want.
I took the gold from before. Or the not gold. I keep saying gold, but it's not gold, it's
Well, as you're dealing with the gold distribution, Brogar, you said you're opening the lids of the barrels in front of you.
Yep, of these ones right here.
As you
Opening the lid and moving them like out away from the path. I want to clear this path, see what's up there.
you see a bit of water off in the hallway, a bit. At least I definitely know that.
Yeah, I can
I don't know what it
see
does.
that.
As you go to the barrels, you notice that one barrel is filled with a bunch of decaying and broken items. The other barrel has water inside it.
I will dump the barrel of water over and attempt to lift up and move the barrel full of items.
sorry, what was that? I had to pause my thing.
Uh,
Game is paused.
Okay. The water is moving. And not from you, Brogar.
Yeah, it's very lightly, not very strange.
Brogar, as your hands are next to the barrel, you notice that it starts seeping through the barrel and over it. And as it's happening, you're noticing that parts of the barrel are starting to now melt.
I take a step back from the barrel. I'm like, Kutak, get back!
What is it?
I don't know, but if it can melt through wood, I don't want to know what it could do to my flesh.
It melts through wood.
It starts to seep, and as it's seeping through the sides of the barrel, it starts taking on a bit of the colorization, causing it to take a bit of color. It is a moving puddle of water that is starting to move towards all of you slowly. And as it's moving, you
Does
notice that
anybody
it's
have a
leaving a
towel?
bit of sizzling debris behind it.
That does not look good at all.
No.
Um,
Brogar,
Do
moving towards
we
you. What do you do?
do we engage or do we go to the left here?
it seems to be rather slow.
Yes. It is just a puddle. I say we go to the left and we just leave bygones be
think we can-
bygones.
I don't think we can hurt it.
Hey, I don't see how we could.
Yeah, I think we should just go.
I agree.
Okay,
Go then.
go in that room. As all of you make your way into this room, you see that there is a puddle. Sorry, not a puddle. There's a well in the room with a statue of looks like a merfolk on top of it. There is water that is all the way around this little statue, but what is most noticeable is the dripping is actually coming from the statue. The statue is sweating water from all over it. And
I
that
stay
is
away from the
dripping into
statue.
the pool.
I no longer trust water. I no longer trust water, so
This room has no exits besides what you see.
someone needs to interact with the fountain. Someone big and strong, I think. Oh, look.
The puddle is coming in. I guess I'll go and interact with the fountain.
What do you do?
I put my hand in the hand of the mermaid.
When you put your hand on the hand of the mermaid, the water that comes from the entire thing, so even though hand is giving off a bit of water, when you touch it, it is very, very cool to your hands, Kutak. More importantly, is your hands have been, because of you digging yourself off of that cliffside earlier in the evening, and your hands have been essentially a little bit ragged, especially the nails have been kind of torn. It immediately heals.
I think the water is healing.
Healing, you say? Wait. And Brogar dips a hand in the water.
Brogar, same thing as you. Any injuries you had on your hand very, very easily disappear and fade
Do
from
I
view.
feel anything different about the current sickness I'm suffering?
No. That, in fact, just to give the idea, after you actually have taken a bit of this, you start coughing again, and it's still a bit of that flecks of blood in your hand when you do this. What about you, Simis? Simis.
Sorry, didn't realize I was muted. There's a truck going by us. There's a plow outside.
I hear.
She's going to try to take a sip of the water after seeing everybody else get healed by it. Just a small sip.
It is very, very refreshing. All you notice, you got back at full health. It's very, very refreshing, and it's very, very cool. And it does heal all your wounds. It's almost like a healing tonic.
Does anybody have a container that we could gather some of this in?
I have a
I have a
bottle.
water
It's a
skin.
very much more
Could
than-
I fill my water skin with this water?
As this material, this water entity, slides, tracing up kind of all of you, and it puts its form into the pool of water. You notice that immediately the water starts taking on a very, very ugly blackish hue.
Oh,
And
God.
it starts to spread and fill the entire pool. And as it happens, you watch as the statue starts to actually crack. Cracks start to strike up the sides of it. And
Oh no!
it starts bleeding a now film of slime. And then the hand that was touched by Kugak breaks and falls into the pool with a splash. All of you kind of back away as the water drips next to you, causing a bit of acid to burn. Then the entire statue crumbles and falls into the pool, bubbling.
We should get out of here.
Yes,
I
we
think that's what we're
should.
here for, though.
Well, the way is clear for the barrels. I say we just smash through them and run.
Agreed.
I pull out my sword and go to smash one of the barrels.
You smash the barrels, and it's very quickly you realize that only the one barrel had this entity. The rest of them just had debris, giving you free access to the room ahead of you.
Yes, we go. I go to the edge of the water. I don't enter it. Whoa.
All of you see a hue glowing, emanating from someplace deeper. The pool is dripping with a bit of water, and you can hear the echoes as the ripples come down towards all of you from the north, but the glow from the east is what's most unsettling. And you can see waves of this mist is just forming and just kind of blowing towards you. Not like at you, but it's emanating from that room wherever this glow is from.
Is this death mist?
Yes. And you can tell there's a large concentration of that death mist here.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious which way we should go. Against all
I
judgment.
don't know.
I don't know. Something in my gut is telling me the cure to this death mist is involved in the death mist itself.
I would have to agree with you.
Okay. I guess.
Can I see what's above?
Oh, you already saw. Someone stepped in there.
Oh.
Sorry, I actually didn't see
That's fine. I
anything
would've blocked it.
special.
I would have blocked it if I needed to.
Uh-oh. I lost connection. to the
Wait,
page.
so yeah, okay, I will slowly start heading towards this glow, I guess.
Oh. I was gonna pick up a piece of debris and throw it in the water.
Oh yeah, we could do that before we step in the water.
you,
Gotta
might
trust
be
the
smart.
water.
you throw a rock and you watch as the rock hits the water and nothing happens.
Alright, now dip like a finger in there.
It is kind of warm.
I'm jumping in.
It's not refreshing. It's like 3 inches deep.
Okay.
Just... okay. I
There's
guess
nothing
we're
up that way, is there?
Now,
There is a bit of debris, but that debris can actually claw through. You actually see there's a room behind it, part of the tunnel system. But getting there shows you what is on the opposite side of this room. That is the detail I want to emphasize. There is a glowing orb that
See that.
is on the opposite side of the room. What is giving that, besides visually glow, is mist is erupting not from the gem or this giant, sorry, not a gem, this giant rock that's glowing red. The mist doesn't come from that. There are 4 humanoid bodies, skeletons, kneeling on each corner of that red rock, hands outstretched, skeleton forms, like they're bowing or praying to this stone. The mist y'all can see is actually erupting from the 4 skeletons.
That does not look safe. Not at all.
It
Nope.
No, it does not.
I'd say we should charge in and smack the skeletons down.
I like the way you
Thank God.
think, lizard man.
No, we should be cautious. We don't know what's going on here.
You can see that this mist that's given off from these 4 skeletons are what is actually forming the pillar that goes into the sky. You see the hole above you is that other entrance you could have taken. This mist, you now see for the first time, all of you realize the death mist, the death fog, is a magical effect, as we all know, but its source are these people, these skeletons. The death myth is caused by whatever these beings were.
I turn to Summies.
I'm like, do you have a plan?
I don't know.
You
I've
think
never seen anything like this before.
you think you hear a crack, like a bone snap. And then that is where I'm gonna end today's session.
Ah,
Right on the cliffhanger.
that's okay. I was getting ready, close to the point where I had to go, anyways.
All right. So that is session 0 of this game, The Lone Road.
That was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Now, here's what I'm going to ask. After the game, there's a couple things I want to ask real quick. When I ask for criticism, good or bad, tell me the truth. That's the only way to become a better GM is by accepting the criticism you're going to have, good or bad. So if there's something you don't like, please let me know as a player. Something you think could be better, so that I can work on. If something is good, tell me also, because that gives me also a confidence boost of running games. But from your start to today, how'd y'all think of this game?
I'm super into it, and
Yeah, you're
I
real
had
good
more
with
fun.
David,
yeah, I had more fun today than I have in a minute playing D&D.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with
Is-
you. I gotta say, Foundry is probably going to become my new favorite way to play.
Yeah, Foundry is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is,
I'll get a
man.
bigger selection of music because, again, I've been kind of doing a lot of prep for today. So I'll just have things a little more smoothed out and teach more stuff. We've only kind of scratched the surface of a lot of stuff that's happening today. Now, one thing I want to ask also is we did start at 3 o'clock for the most part. We had some difficulties with Raven. And it is 6:30 right now, so it is being 3.5 hours. Would y'all like to have 3 or 4 hour sessions? If we had 4 hours, we would actually go 30 more minutes. Or we would have ended 30 minutes ago if we go 3 hour sessions. How does everyone feel? I kind of want to ask this when we get to a full group, because right now we're actually half the group I want. If I go to 5 players, I think I want to go to 5 players with this game. I do need to get 2 more. So, but with
Me
you 3 here, what do you
personally,
think?
I would like a 4-hour session because I like the longer sessions.
Agreed.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
only
4 hours,
7:30 for me, so that would put me still going to bed at 8 o'clock, which is when I try to go to sleep at anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning, so
Okay. So we'll go for our session.
if
So
I tried that, I would be
Same.
gone.
Okay. So we'll go for not today, but for future games, we'll go for 30 more minutes, which will be the end time. But in general, and this is how I am as a GM, I don't like running games with 3 players. Even though I had fun running this game with you three here, and it was definitely enjoyable, I like having a group. So I want to run
Yeah.
a game with at least 4 players. So typically, if I do have 5 players and 2 do call out for a game, I might cancel the session. I might do one shot, stuff like that. But I typically have to run a game with at least 4 players. But I don't want to give you guys all just like nothing happened today, especially getting you all prepped up for this game today. That's why I went and continued with it. And plus, it did ran fine. But for me, as a GM, I enjoy having multiple, more as an actual group. I like to have in a game. So I'm looking for 2 more players because Raven's out. Looks like I'll read her message, but I'm guessing she can't fix her thing. So I'll look for 2 more to get in here. I have a bunch of people that messaged me to throw into this game. And I'll throw them in pretty much next session. Now that you guys have a bit of a idea of how Foundry in this game works a little bit, then we'll have more options to evolve and open up when we go to actual level 1. This is just kind of the story of how you become the start of adventurers. So.
Yeah, I'm absolutely
All right.
adoring this one. This is a
So
lot of fun.
far, I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The rolling mechanics are awesome, although I wish I could use my physical dice. The combat is actually really smooth this way. You don't feel like you're going out of turn with people or anything like that. And it keeps a good track of whose turn it is. Because I've been skipped like 5 times on combat turns because our DM just kind of forgot a couple of times.
So I will say
Yeah,
this:
absolutely.
it's much easier to manage in 3 players. When we get to 4 and 5, I typically will be a type of GM. Not so much right now because everyone's learning the system, but obviously I can't have you guys focus on the game. It's easy enough on a computer to have other browsers. I have 3 monitors to run my games. To just like watch YouTube or something on another monitor. I can't really do anything with that. But when it comes to combat, if you are taking a bit of time, I will skip you because I want to have the game flow. And if someone is watching TV and then it gets their turn, and they don't know what they're doing, I will skip you. So I'll do what I can to keep you focused on the game. Like you know, I've been calling you individually for stuff like that. There's some of the stuff I'll do to kind of help try to elevate it if I can, but I want to have more emphasis on smoothness of the game. And so right now I'm not gonna worry about it because we're all new, and that's why I kind of start at level 0 because there's less options to actually worry about and juggle around. But I want to keep the smoothness of the game going as we continue forward.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Does.
But in general, I thought this was a fairly good launch.
Yes, I'm excited for next Tuesday.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Had a
am
lot of
too.
fun.
All
right.
Yeah.
Now we didn't talk about XP. I don't use XP. I use milestone leveling, which means common encounters. If you do encounter them, are pretty much only good for getting gear if you need to, or by doing things to get around it. So if you can get around a fight by not fighting, absolutely go for it. Because XP is just too much of a grind in my opinion. So I kind of love you guys on when it feels relevant to you becoming more advanced as heroes, as people, as adventurers.
So, sounds great to me. I've already got experience with milestone leveling. And
Yeah, I honestly prefer milestone over XP just so you don't get the murder hobos.
Yeah.
Yep, same.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. As I understand it, XP can be really annoying because if you're like a tank player or something like that and you take a bunch of damage and deal a bunch of damage, and then someone
You get the
comes in and
same
just
amount.
quickly,
Yeah.
you lose all that work and get 0 XP.
Oh, if
Yep.
you do like selected based, if I did XP, I've done XP before. The way I did it when I do it is you get more XP if you actually avoid the counter. You almost get double if you avoid the counter than you would if you actually fought it. This emphasizes you not doing the actual fight itself. But as long as the group beats the encounter, the entire group gets the same XP. So it does not get
Yeah,
distributed.
that's how I run XP is as long as the group makes it through the encounter, the entire group gets that XP. I have done it to where if someone gets like knocked out super early, they won't get any, or if they get like knocked down like halfway through the fight, they'll only get half. So long as they don't like get back up and contribute. Like if someone gets knocked out and is out for the whole fight right at the beginning, I wouldn't give them any XP. Just because I mean you didn't do anything, you know.
Yeah. Let's talk about another thing about
But
how I run my games real quick too, before we all come outside of here. So in my games, if we do have like a full party of 5 and say like one misses, what I typically do is that player is just gone. I'll do like a quick thing, like maybe he's busy or something like that, but I don't allow a player, or I won't run another player. Just because it just feels weird for me to do that myself because I'm juggling so many things as a GM, but I don't want another player to run another character. So if one of you do miss, I'm just going to essentially just kind of have you in the background of whatever the group is doing, and I always adjust encounters for whoever's here at the group. So if there was going to be a hard encounter for 5, I would just drop it down to 4. So I balance the counters for what's going to happen. So
sick.
All right.
All right, good to know.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably won't miss.
Yeah, I shouldn't either.
Many.
Yeah, if I miss something, it's gonna be something major came up.
Yeah,
So-
same. It'll be an
Yeah,
emergency
same.
because Tuesday is my guaranteed day off. So
real quick, I shouldn't have too many issues. I might be called into work on Tuesdays. My normal days off are Wednesday, Thursday, and Tuesday, but I might be called in if I'm busy. But here's one thing I do want to mention also, and this is actually my biggest thing. I'm a very patient person, but my biggest pet peeve that will make me actually mad is someone who ghosts a game. If you ghost a session, and you don't give me a damn good excuse as fast as you can, I will probably boot you. Now, not for the first one, it's fine, but if you do like multiple, where you just ghost, like you do like don't show up and you don't say anything, that really annoys me because to me it's lack of respect. Not as to me, but to the ultimate other players. Because if you think about it, if now me as improv, I'm kind of okay with it because I can deal with it, but in general, the practice, if you ghost a session for say 4 people, that's like essentially 20 some hours of things you're screwing with. So if you're gonna miss, just let me know ahead of time, day ahead, even the morning, and whatnot. If something that bad happens, you don't say anything. Just let me know as soon as you can. But I do not respect or like people that ghost a session. If you're gonna bow out, if you're gonna leave, just say something. If you're gonna miss, if you're gonna something's coming, if you don't feel like playing the game that day because you're in a bad mood, just say, "Hey, I'm not feeling it. I don't want to be out." Okay, that's fine. But if you ghost, there's gonna be issues.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
trust me, I despise ghosters. I'm with
What's
you
up?
on that. I think that sounds good to me.
But if I do have an
Absolutely.
issue with my schedule, I usually know my week schedule on Fridays. So if I'm gonna miss a session because something does happen, I'll let you know on Friday or it's actually Saturday morning. But I don't expect too many things, especially with COVID right now, because I do work in a casino, and with the whole COVID situation, we're just so slow because of all this bullshit. So they've been giving me pretty much consistently Tuesday off, which is why I decided to run a game on Tuesday. But certain days like Super Bowl might put me into on Tuesday schedule, so I'll let everyone know. But I expect and suspect that I'll be Tuesday off for a significant amount of time, which is why I decided to go with a level 5 arc and then go from there and see what we do.
All right.
Alright, sounds like a plan. But yeah, so far, man, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, but this is actually a giant taste of how I do. So you saw all the roleplay I did, which I think I do. You saw the sense of exploration, which is in today's game with the fountain. You go down here, so you kind of got a sense of how I run my game with this session today.
I'm happy we went to the fountain before we came down here because this feels like a fight, and that fountain healed us.
Yup.
Question: since it's past, if we were to try to attack that puddle, what would have happened? Like, would we have been able to hurt that thing?
You don't know.
Fair.
Go to it and attack that pool next session. See what happens.
Uh.
Drink from
We
it.
might end up actually having to fight it because whatever happens here, if it's blocking our escape route, it might just end
Oh
up being
God! What
all
if it joins in from the back while we're fighting these skeletons?
of whatever we're fighting. Yeah.
Well, that is something you will find out next session.
So I do actually have a question about that.
Yeah.
Next session, I assume you're gonna try to get the 2 other players before next session. How is that gonna work?
I was thinking about, so the level 0 is probably going to be at the most 2 sessions. So most likely or guaranteed you'll be leveled 1 by next session because you guys have enough experience by then to do the level 0 stuff.
Okay.
So I might just do all of you, just you three next session, because it's kind of hard to write the other person in here. I mean, obviously I will do it, but my plan was to get you all to level 1 and then bring the other 2 players.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
That answers my question because
Okay,
I was
I'm
just
gonna
going to
do
ask
that.
how you were going to integrate 2 random people joining.
Yep, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna
Cave
stick with you
Adventure.
3. So unfortunately, if one of you do miss, I will cancel the game because there's only 3 of you. But if all 3 of you show up, I'm gonna go with you 3, complete this, get you level 1 by the end of next session or whenever it happens next session, and then at the actual level 1, the actual start of the game, instead of adventuring, I'll bring in the other 2 players.
Awesome.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
You guys have a good night.
Yeah, have a good week. I'll
Right.
talk
If
to
there's,
you.
if there's anything else you need, DM, just message me.
Yep. Oh, I missed y'all. But good game. I'm out of here. Anything you need, just let me know, and I am going to beat you all out of this server in about now, and talk to y'all later.
Talk to you later.
All right.